Knoxville, Tennessee. The homestand and Tennessee Volunteers playing host to the Red Raiders of the Texas Tech out on the South Plain in the Big 12 Conference. Certainly the biggest story during the offseason of 1997 was this man. And Peyton Manning decided he was going to return for one more season, his senior year, here on the campus at Tennessee. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Mike Gottfried. And great to have you back with us here on Saturday Night Primetime and great college football. You know, Mike, the favorite son has returned, and the people here in the Volunteer State are extremely, extremely happy about that. But with it goes, I think, a lot of pressure, not only on Peyton Manning, but also on this entire Tennessee football team.
Ron, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of pressure on Peyton Manning, but also on the offensive line, and a tailback has to emerge. They have to have a running game. Last year, when you look at their statistics, Tennessee gained 9 yards versus Florida rushing the football, 85 yards versus Memphis State. They lost both those games. You have to have a running game, evidenced by the fact Florida won a national championship, gaining over 2,000 yards rushing, going with that great passing game.
Zebby Lethridge, the starting quarterback for Texas Tech. He is a proven veteran. You know his name. But Spike Bikes does not have the luxury of having his superstar back because Myron Hanspard decided he was going to go on to the pros. So a bit of a void has been left on the South Plain at Lubbock.
Well, he's out of here. And tonight you're going to see a freshman tailback. His last game run in high school, he probably played in front of 6,000 people. Tonight, 107,000 people. Can you imagine what's going through his mind? The other problem is Tennessee's got a great linebacker in Leonard Little. They'll try to tie him on against the freshman running back or the two redshirt freshman tackles.
Spike Dykes, the head coach for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, 11 years last year, the Big 12 Coach of the Year. And across the way, Philip Fulmer. 5th season here at Tennessee, and look at that winning percentage, almost 83%. Texas Tech won the toss. They have deferred, so it will be the Volunteers receiving. Greaser to kick it off, and Levine is the deep man. And another part of tradition here at Knoxville as the PA announcer screams out, it's football time in Tennessee. This one is underway. Levine from the 1. 25 to the 29. And let's go down to the sideline and check with the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, thanks very much. I got to tell you, the feeling down here is pretty special because this is it. This very moment is the real reason that Peyton Manning decided to come back to Tennessee for his senior season of college football. He says it's just so much fun playing in this place, and you can certainly see and feel why. I had a heart-to-heart with him the other day, and he said, you know, Adrian, I hope that my decision was good for myself, good for Tennessee, but primarily good for college football. This is the way people feel around him down here. This is the back page of today's sports section. Peyton Manning's greatest pass, passing up the NFL. He is the most popular man in the state of Tennessee since Elvis.
His first pass goes complete to Marcus Nash, and with that gives us an opportunity to introduce the starters for the Volunteers tonight. Manning gets all of the attention, but the Vols are searching for a regular at tailback. Levine will start tonight. Fullback Sean Bryson, well, he's their best back. He was moved from tailback after last year. The wide receivers, this is a very talented group. Peerless Price, we were not expecting him to start tonight. They said he'll get at least 25 snaps. That is big for the Volunteers. Also look for McCullough. He's a big-time receiver. And the offensive line, well, last year it was the question mark, not this year. Trey Teague at center is their bell cow.
Personal foul on the offense. 15-yard penalty. End of the run. Second down.
Ron Gilbert, the referee tonight. Of course, it is, I say of course, it is a Southeastern Conference crew. And Tennessee throws a completion, and they come back with a personal foul, and the penalty pushes it back to the 23-yard line. So it was a post-play foul as well. So it's going to be a second down, and the line to make is out at the 39. We'll check the Tech defense in just a moment. Levine maybe has one on the left side, and let's check the starters for the Texas Tech defense. This really is an inexperienced group overall, but at defensive end, Monte Rieger, he will make his presence known tonight. You'll hear number 34's name and number called a lot. The linebackers, they're going to miss suspended Eric Butler in the middle, but number 5, Kevin McQuiller. He is the guy that Spike Dykes wants to play every down if he can. McCullough And in the secondary, of course, with the suspension of Darden at the left corner, Brian Giddens, a redshirt freshman, is the guy who will be playing for him tonight. Blitz is on. They pick it up. Going to go on top. Got a man just overthrown. Brown had the cover. Marcus Nash is the man that he was looking for.
Ron, the penalty set Tennessee back, but realize this. Every opponent that plays Tennessee this year, when they drive that bus up here, they're going to say, you're going to have to beat us with the running game. We're going to try to take the passing game away.
Well, good look at David Leverton. He is a freshman out of Midland, Texas, punting for the Volunteers, and back deep is Dane Johnson at a single safety, and the ball goes over his head. Leverton has time and has the presence of mind to get it away. Not very far, and it just bites. I mean, like a sand wedge, it did at the 37, and the Red Raiders have an awfully good opportunity.
Well, Ron, what happened on this play is the snap's high, and it goes through the punter, Leverton's hands, but Texas Tech has a return on. Watch Texas Tech. They're hitting all the Tennessee players. They're heading back for return. Now they see that the punt snap was high, but they didn't have the punt block on.
So an inauspicious beginning for the Volunteers here tonight. Zebby Lethridge and company, and he will have behind him Ricky Williams, number 35, a freshman. This time last year he was preparing for Plano East High School. Pumps it. Lethridge falls down as he got bumped at the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look at the starters for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Lethridge, of course, leads the charge, and we might see as many as 4 tailbacks tonight, but true freshman Ricky Williams gets the start. Wide receivers McKenzie and Hart. Hart has been problemed with a hamstring. He is the go-to guy. And this offensive line, they are huge, but they're young. Both starting tackles are redshirt freshmen. In fact, Jonathan Gray is nicknamed House. He is on the left side. He is a svelte 349. He told us yesterday. There's a good look at House. Counter play, Leonard Little with his first stop of the night, the first of many. Quickness, actually the key ingredient for this group. The defensive line to look at as far as the individuals, Jonathan Brown, and of course over on the other side, Corey Terry. The linebackers, number 1 is just that. He is number 1 of the hearts of these ball fans who like defense. That's Leonard Little. And of course in the secondary, Terry Fair probably is as good as any corner in all of college football. He also is a great return man. You also get to hear Fair's name as a wide receiver. Lethridge on 3rd down, under pressure again. Pumps it, and Little gets a shot at him, and he'll go down just inside the 40.
Ron, when you look at this defense of Tennessee's, having watched them and having been down to Gainesville and watched Florida's defense, they're very comparable foot speed-wise. They've got faster linebackers this year. Their down linemen are very solid. Zebby Lethridge is a very good athlete, but you're going to see Tennessee's foot speeds. There's Leonard Little, number 1, Corey Terry, number 22 on the tackle.
So Hernandez comes into the ballgame to punt in what looked like an ideal situation for the Red Raiders as they take over the short punt after the snap over the punter's head at the 37. They are punting with a 4th down and 12. Line drive, knuckleball. Going to hit at the 5 and is going to go out of bounds at the 5-yard line. So the Volunteers will take it over 95 yards away following a 34-yard kick. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Knoxville. Second offensive series for the Volunteers. Philip Crosby, number 21, moves into the lineup at fullback. John Bryson gets the carry. He'll take it out over the 10. That's Dane Johnson, number 13, the senior out of Southlake, Texas, who comes up to make the stop on him.
Talking to Phil Fulmer yesterday, he said he's going to play 4 running backs at the tailback position. Mark Levine, of course, was a starter. Sean Bryson, who ran the last play, is the complete package. He can run, he can pass, receive, and he can block right out of the backfield.
Now both teams have had one offensive series. Time to calm down and get it going. Here's Bryson. Takes it out over the 15, and there's the initial first down of the night. Tennessee will pick it up as they move it out to the 16, and again, Dane Johnson from his safety position.
It's imperative for Tennessee in this first ball game to establish, number one, the running game, but to establish a tailback. You don't like to have four guys rolling in there at different times. So Sean Bryson tonight, it looks like, is going to get the first shot to take this tailback position.
Volunteers rushing, 3 attempts, now 13 yards. Nash just out of your picture to the bottom of the screen, goes wide right. They keep it on the ground, and Bryson is going to have maybe one, and that's it. Cody McGuire, senior out of Crane, Texas, comes up to make the tackle. And, you know, Spike Dykes said yesterday, I said, Spike, what about the crowd? He said, well, you know, we had to deal with Penn State a couple of years ago. What happened? He said, I'm going to tell you the truth. He said, we have many guys that haven't traveled before. He said, almost half of our guys live in towns that aren't half the size of the folks that will be in the stadium tonight. So he said it'll be a little bit shocked.
And this is a fragile football team because of the suspensions. They need good things to happen to them early.
Well, they got the early break. They were not able to take advantage of it, but Tennessee is scrimmaging in very poor field position because of that snap over the punter's head. Manning, play action, goes long, and he's going to be picked up. That's Darwin Brown who makes the pick at the 45, and he's got a wall of blockers. Brown at the 20, and Texas Tech will have the ball at the 13-yard line. Hang on.
That's a touchdown, Ron, if Peyton Manning is not rushed. He was rushed by Kyle Shipley, I believe, tried to get to him, and he wasn't able to follow through. Watch Peyton Manning, good fake, here comes Shipley. Now he can't follow through. He's got a wide receiver wide open downfield. Marcus Nash running wide open, but all the ball is underthrown. Darwin Brown with the interception. Again, Texas Tech has to make some hay right here.
Well, they had it at the 37 a moment ago. Came away with nothing. Now they have it at the 13. Quick snap right up the middle. Ricky Williams and the freshman will take it inside the 10, and he's down close to the 8 as Jonathan Brown is there to make the stick on him.
We talked about the pressure, Ron, on Peyton Manning, but the pressure is the same on the other side of the ball for Zebby Lethridge. All of a sudden, you mentioned in the open, he lost Hanspard, the great tailback. Now he's got two fullback and a tailback. It's never been in a college ball game before. He's got two redshirt freshman tackles, so the pressure's on Zebby Lethridge to deliver.
He's got to make sure he knows where everybody is. Good heavens, what a hit by Billy Ratliff. Just as the ball was handed off, the sophomore out of Magnolia, Mississippi, just obliterated the play.
Ron, there's some great defenses in college football this year. Nebraska, Penn State, of course, Florida, and North Carolina. But I think this Tennessee defense, when all's said and done, is going to rank up with all of them. Here's Zebby Lethridge, quick snap. Ball up inside. Billy Ratliff, 6'3", 275 out of Magnolia, Mississippi with that tackle.
Third down. Line to make is the 4. No score. Clock running with 8:25 to play opening quarter in Knoxville. Lethridge to throw. Near side, throws it behind his intended receiver, and it's going to be field goal time as Terry Fair had the cover on the play, but that one wasn't close.
Ron, you can look at this ball game right now. First quarter, 8:15 to go. They've had 2 shots inside the 50-yard line, Texas Tech, and they're going to come away at best with the field goal. So great defense by John Chavis, the defensive coordinator in this Tennessee Volunteer defense.
This is going to be a 27-yard attempt. And, Mike, what's happening right now is they're having to get a freshman on the field. They only had 10 men there. And this is what you're talking about, first game, special team jitters.
Well, he was probably looking around at this crowd. Like you said, he's probably from a town at 250.
And it's going to cost him as a flag comes down. We got delay of game or procedure, one of the two.
Well, the 5-yard penalty doesn't bother me if I'm Spike Dykes. It's that fact that that kicker's been out there for a long time.
Before the snap, before the 25-second clock terminated, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And you know that one of the things that Spike Dykes has talked with his special teams about, it happened in the first game last week with Oklahoma. Better make sure that the holder has his mouthpiece in, because they were charged with a timeout because he was not prepared. 32-yard attempt this time. Good pass, plenty of distance, and he missed it. Wide left. Okay, mulligans are taken. Now let's play football. Timeout on the field, no score. 8:11 left to play, opening quarter. Well, the Volunteer faithful a little nervous over this start. Peyton Manning 1-3-1. 1 of 3, 1 interception so far the early going in this ball game. See the blitz up the middle and they break it. Has 5, has 10, counted off at 11 yards. Ty Ardoin will make the stop. But Levine found a little bit of a slice open there, Mike, and it's the reason because those linebackers had just run by the play.
Well, you're right, Ron. The offensive line that's been so badly humiliated here at Tennessee last year, everybody talked about that was the problem. They have got together this year and said, let's run the football. And I think they're better, Ron, than they've ever been. This is a good offensive line.
Levine, a junior out of Dallas, Texas, 5'11", 189. He gets the pitch. You see the pressure on the outside, and he's going to be knocked down for a 6-yard loss. Make it 7. Back at the 24-yard line, and Ardoin again. Number 29, he's a junior out of Beaumont.
Well, the problem you have when you play against Texas Tech is they're an 8-man front football team. They've got the line of scrimmage crowded with 8 people. They're saying to you, you're not going to run the football, and we're just by alignment. But Tennessee has got to continue to try to run the football. Peyton Manning eventually play action pass. That will open up.
Second down, the line to make is all the way out at the 41-yard line. Manning's pass off the hands of Benji Schuler. Tried to finesse it in there, and now it's going to be a 3rd down and long.
Ron, a problem for Spike Dykes and Texas Tech tonight is the suspensions. They lost a corner and a middle linebacker. Now this is Brian Giddens, a redshirt freshman. On the other side is Darwin Brown. Now they haven't been able to hit anything on him yet, but watch around the second quarter, the midway point, because they're going to get tired. Tennessee's running 7 receivers at different times against these guys, so they're going to tire them a little bit.
3rd down. Manning sets, zips it over the middle, has it complete, and there's Nash. And he can do something with it after he catches it. A gain of 5 more. First down, Tennessee. It's good for 20.
And what you like about Marcus Nash is the fact that he's got good speed, but he's got good size. He's 6'3" and 190. And Ron, the whole key with Marcus Nash is after he catches the ball, he makes yardage. He has long arms, which is able to enable him to be able to reach out and snatch the ball out of the air. Wide open down the middle. Good catch. Good throw by Peyton Manning.
Nash, a really good-looking athlete at 6'3", 190. So Tennessee now with their furthest advancement of the football as they take it out to their own 45. Manning pumping. Right over the middle this time, Peerless Price. And the junior from Dayton, Ohio, will take it into Red Raider territory for the first time tonight. That is an 18-yard gain.
Well, Ron, here's what I'm talking about earlier. Peerless Price with the great catch, and that was what he needed, the first tackle. But as you look at the defensive backs as they scramble backwards, again, you're going to tire out when you lose a starter and you lose a linebacker, 2 guys on Tuesday. There's no depth. You lose the leadership of the veteran guys, and there's no depth to be able to replace them. Adrian needs to watch those 2 corners to see when they get tired.
Now a flag comes down to the secondary.
They may call him for 12 men on the field because Texas Tech had a late substitution.
Ball before the snap. Illegal substitution on the defense. Held to replace player. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And let's check in quickly with Carl Ravitch.
Hi, Ron. Thanks very much. 6th time in school history that OSU's opened up with a conference game. How are they doing? Todd Bandauer, Garrett Bivens behind the defense. It's early, but right now Iowa State on top of OSU by a touchdown, right?
Okay, boy, Oklahoma State has really had their woes. I'm sure they're glad to get the season started. First down and 5 following that penalty, and you see the blitz coming, and he got back in time. Manning in a shotgun, wills it complete, and he's got it. It's Jermaine Copeland, and he'll have the first down at the 20-yard line of Texas Tech. Tim Duffy made the stop.
Well, a happy player was Jermaine Copeland when Peyton Manning decided to come back, because that gave him the opportunity to move out and play the wide receiver position. He was the backup quarterback. Then T. Martin came here from Mobile, Alabama, and has established himself as the backup quarterback, allowed Jermaine Copeland to go out to a wide receiver position.
And T. Martin injured a knee, and it was Manning who begged the coaching staff, don't bring Jermaine back in because it's getting frustrating to him. Back and forth, back and forth. Passes over the middle, incomplete. That was Jermaine Copeland that he tried to catch up with. Let's go down to Adrian Karsten.
Well, Ron, moments ago, Coach mentioned those defensive backs for Texas Tech are really getting picked on by Peyton and company. I can see it in their faces. What they're doing now to overcompensate is playing way too far off the receivers. And even if Peyton doesn't throw to his receivers every time, either Price or Nash, they're still continuing to drive these guys deep, and that's the last thing they can afford to do here.
Well, Ron, the backup, Adrian's right, the backup for Giddens and Darwin Brown are two freshmen.
Second down and 10. You see the blitz coming from the outside. They go with a running play. 8-9 yards as Brian Darden, the sophomore out of Vicksburg, Mississippi, came very close to breaking it for 6 points.
The third tailback coming into the ball game. Brian Darden, 6 foot, 190. And everybody talked about him last year when we were here for ball games. They said, you know, wait till you see Brian Darden. But he hasn't established himself yet. And he may be a gamer. He may be the guy that when you put him on under the lights and put the silks on him, that he runs wild.
And they got a couple more. Jamal Lewis, a freshman out of Atlanta, and Travis Henry out of Frostproof, Florida, that everybody's dying to get a look at. Third down and 1. Straight ahead, and Levine is going to have the first down. Check it, it's Bryson off the right side, and it's 1st and goal, Tennessee.
Ron, you know this offensive line likes this, because a local sports writer said their offensive line was inept last year. But how can you say somebody's inept when you go 10-2 and all of a sudden you rank 10th in total offense in the NCAA? So they feel like they have something to prove. Their coach, Mark Bradley, talks about the closeness of this offensive line, and they feel like that they've been kind of talked down to.
9 plays, 71 yards so far, and they just used over 4 minutes. And Peyton Manning says, I want to go over and talk it over with my coaching staff. So let's take the timeout with him. 4:02 to play, opening quarter. No score. Tennessee threatening. So Peyton Manning called a timeout, stopping the clock with 4:02 to play, first quarter. You have to wonder. Texas Tech got the ball at the 37, lost 2 yards in the series. Then they got the ball at, what, the 13-yard line, and missed the field goal try after they put one pass around the end zone. And let's see if that comes back to haunt them now, Mike.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. You have 2 opportunities to score on the road. You better put some points on the board.
1st and goal. That's Nash in motion, top of the screen. Manning looking right over the middle. Touchdown, Jermaine Copeland. Hard to throw it much better than that one was tossed.
Ron, you're exactly right. Dane Johnson had good coverage. And that ball, that was threading the needle in there perfectly, because you have to throw that ball perfect because of the coverage, and he did. Peyton Manning right to the backup quarterback at one time, Jermaine Copeland.
Well, you see how he started. 1 of 4, interception. Last 5 passes, 4 of 5. Extra points. Jeff Ball knocks it downtown, and the Volunteers go on top by a count of 7-0 with 3:57 to play, first quarter.
Well, John Goodner, the defensive coordinator, said the other day that Peyton Manning throws passes that no other people want to throw. Look at this. Look at the coverage right here. Here's the football. That ball is on the mark. It has to fit in there perfect. That's good coverage. That was Brian Giddens on the coverage. The ball zipped in there to Jermaine Copeland. You can't throw it any better than that, folks.
If he covered him any closer, he would have been flagged. I mean, because he's right there, and Also, you got to give credit to Jermaine Copeland for tremendous concentration to watch that in.
Well, you know, they work so much in the off-season, in the summertime, that they know each other about as well as you can know. And they knew, Jermaine Copeland knew that Peyton Manning was going to get that ball in there. Now, here comes the second problem for Texas Tech. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to be backed up unless they get a big kickoff return. And this Tennessee defense is going to turn loose a little bit more speed.
Jeff Hall to kick it off for the Vols. Dane Johnson, one of the deep men. This is going to come down to Johnson at the 7. Johnson goes out across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Well, on Thursday night on ESPN, college football kicks off at 7:30 with the weekend kickoff show. Followed at 8 o'clock with number 19, Auburn, traveling to ACC country to take on the Virginia Cavaliers Thursday, 7:30 Eastern Time. Auburn, the number 19 preseason ranked team. And although George Welch and his guys lost some important people, Charlottesville's not an easy place to play.
No, it certainly isn't. And they say they have some good defensive linemen in Virginia.
Letheridge with the give to Williams. Looks for a hole to run into. Ran right into Rennick Thompson, number 46. That's a pickup of about 4. Thompson, a sophomore out of New Orleans, 6'3", 217 pounds.
Ron, Texas Tech will sprint up to the line of scrimmage. Dick Winder, who was the offensive coordinator before, who has gone on to Oklahoma, great coach, had them sprinting up the line of scrimmage, and that presents a problem to the defense because you have to get set because Zebby's going to go right away.
Well, they go with the running play. And close to the first down, and Williams is just smothered by Al Wilson. Wow, it looked for the world as though Tech would get their first down of the night, and he just got smothered. Also on that play, as you get another look at it right here. Whoa. Rob Peters had come in, number 9, who is the backup quarterback. They really like him. He's such a great athlete, so they use him at wide receiver at times. Third down. Texas Tech needs to take the ball 1.5 yards to the 37-yard line. They trail 7-0. Williams behind his blocker, and he's going to have it. Leonard Little on the tackle, and let's check in with Adrian Karsten again. Adrian?
Ron and Mike, notice how close to the line of scrimmage Texas Tech is getting organized here in their huddle. Then they sprint up to the line, as Coach points out, and it does a couple of things. Has Tennessee in a situation where they cannot disguise any of their defenses and they have to commit. And keep in mind that last year against Kansas State in the opener, the Red Raiders ran 107 plays. Now that's 20 to 30 more than you would normally expect. Even though they didn't score in that last possession, Spike Dykes likes the way they broke the line, just as they did get up to the ball and run their play.
Well, they fake the counter Trey. Zebby's pass, got it complete. And that is Tim Wynn, his tight end. And Carl Ravitch, let's check in with you again.
Hi, Ron. If Peyton Manning is story 1 as far as quarterbacks go. 1A is Doug Johnson. Stepping in for Danny Werfel, having some problems. He has shown great arm strength, but not necessarily great touch. He's been picked off twice right now. And Florida just kicked the ball on a 4th down. They are up 14-0 in the 3rd quarter with 8 minutes left. Fewest points they've ever scored in an opener under Spurrier, 35. That's going to be impressed.
Carl, I would imagine that was a visor thrower there for Steve Spurrier.
Well, you know, Ron, they have that great defense down there, too. So they can make some mistakes on offense because their defense is going to hold up.
Letheridge, quick count again. Looking left, not there. Goes right, has it complete. It'll be another first down. Inside the 35 is Donnie Hart, the junior out of Wolford, Texas. And the Red Raiders, all of a sudden on this series, finding a bit of a combination. That's good for 16.
Well, we talk about Peyton Manning, but on the other side of the field's a great quarterback in Zebby Letheridge. As a quarterback, he's led Texas Tech to 3 bowl games. Did a good job of looking off. He looked to the left side, was able to come back to the right side and hit Donnie Hart on the out pattern for the first down.
Well, there's no quicker way to quiet a big home partisan crowd than just what Spike Dykes Red Raiders are doing right now, and that is start moving the football. Tennessee creeps up, and now here comes a flag down. And that's thrown to the referee back behind the offense. Little is pointing that it's against the Red Raiders.
Before the snap, false start, interior lineman, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Ron, what you can expect down here now, the Texas Tech coaches have to be thinking about, once you cross the 50-yard line of an opponent, now you're going to get heated up. Leonard Little is going to come from some position, or Raynoch Thompson, number 46, or Al Wilson, number 27. Look for a blitz out of Tennessee once you cross the 50-yard line on them.
3 wide receivers to the left this time, Mike, and it's a quarterback draw. Now he can run. Leftridge, and he gets tagged. Wow, Raynoch Thompson and Wilson have the 2 greatest hits of the night. We could stop play right now. Boy, those are real head knockers. When you can hear this far up, over 107,000 people.
Ron, here's the blitz. Here's Leonard Little coming on the blitz. Now stop it right there. Now he's in pretty good shape, but he's got to close down to make the tackle on Zebby Leftridge, but he didn't close. Zebby's a good enough athlete to get inside of Leonard Little. Raynoch Thompson on the tackle. Good blitz call by Tennessee, but a better play by Zebby Leftridge.
Second down. Texas Tech needs the 23. Under 1 minute to play, opening quarter. Here's Williams. Tries to break it out that time. He was about a step away, but Torrey Noel caught up with him. You get the feeling that the freshman is lathered up a little bit and getting into the rhythm of the game.
Yeah, all of a sudden, he's not a freshman anymore. He's not a high school player. He's back in this ball game. You look over at Texas Tech right now. They've got a chalkboard, and they're drawing some plays. They're putting some numbers on this, and they'll give that to Zebby Leftridge. One coach will do the signaling, and then I think they're going to let the quarter run out here.
Yep, they're not going to rush it, so that is the end of the first quarter. And as they change ends of the field, it is the homestanding Volunteers of Tennessee 7 and the Red Raiders of Texas Tech nothing but threatening. We'll be right back. Well, Texas Tech of the Big 12 Conference against Southeastern Conference member Tennessee tonight here in Knoxville, 7-0. Our score as we head into the second quarter. Very rapid first quarter as both teams determined to try to run the football some. Situation, third down. Texas Tech needs the Tennessee 23-yard line. Option play. Williams, he'll have the first down, and the freshman knocked out of bounds inside the 20 at the 19 by Terry Fair.
Well, when you have a mobile quarterback, you can do this. You can run the option. 2 plays that have hurt Tennessee's defense on this drive is the quarterback draw, which you mentioned. They caught him in a blitz, and now the option. Zebby Leftridge going down the line of scrimmage and pitching the ball to Ricky Williams. So both things you can do with a quarterback that can run.
Williams, 8 carries, 24 yards. You see the first 2 drives, no first downs, and on this drive, 4 for the Red Raiders. And Spike Dykes mentioned yesterday, he said, let us get into the second quarter with all this youth, and I think we'll be fine if we don't self-destruct in that first 15 minutes. Counter tray. Williams just eaten up in the backfield. Billy Ratliff again, and also Jonathan Brown. And here's where Ricky Williams' lack of size really hurts him.
You're right, Ron. And Billy Ratliff, he wears number 40 because he was a linebacker coming out of high school. But when you talk to the Tennessee defensive coaches, John Chavis, Kevin Ramsey, and those guys, they say he's like a Miami player. Warren Sapp, Cortez Kennedy. He explodes at the line of scrimmage. He has so much quickness, he can make things happen inside the tackle box.
So it's second down. It was a loss of about 2 yards in the play. Red Raiders need the 9-yard line. Williams hit hard inside. Again, it's Raynoch Thompson. Boy, he's really throwing the leather around tonight, and it's going to be a third down situation at about 12 yards for Texas Tech.
Boy, that was a great play right there by Raynoch Thompson. He just stepped in and met Ricky Williams. No one blocked him. A lot of different looks by the Tennessee defense, and they're lining up Leonard Little a lot of different ways. So Zebby Leftridge has to make sure he knows where number 1, Leonard Little's at. Third down situations, Texas Tech is 2 of 4. As we mentioned, they need to take it to the 9-yard line. Lobs the pass, and it's going to be picked off, and there's nobody on that side.
Goodrich, as they cover quickly, is going to be tackled, but a horrible pass as Leathridge just put it up for the Tennessee defensive back to intercept.
You know what I think he saw, Ron, when that play developed? He saw number 1, Leonard Little, coming on the blitz. Nobody blocked him, and I think there was a breakdown in this pass pattern. Here's Leonard Little. Now, nobody blocks him. So all of a sudden, Zebby Leathridge hangs this football up to Tim Wynn, number 91. But it's got to be a broken pattern somehow. Dwayne Goodrich, the highly recruited freshman out of Illinois last year, with that interception, and Tennessee stops that Texas Tech threat.
Now, Rob Peters was actually the closest man to the football, the backup quarterback who they use at wide receiver. Tech comes with a blitz, and in the backfield, they're going to be knocked down for a loss. Darden had no place to go. Shipley, the first man through to make the hit.
And Kyle Shipley starting in this ball game tonight at the middle linebacker position because Eric Butler is home, being suspended. A good play. I'll say this for Eric Butler and Tony Darden. When I was at practice the other day, these two guys found out on Tuesday they weren't going to play at that practice night. They were working the offensive plays at Tennessee, so they just wanted to help their team win. Tennessee with 24 yards rushing at this point.
Second down at about 15. The running play, big opening for a second. Darden gets tripped up. Somebody got an ankle, and I think it was Dane Johnson. He will have 6 of those 15 back, so make it a third down, and they need their own 32.
You made a point earlier. Now, this is the third tailback. Mark Levine, Brian Darden, and Sean Bryson playing at the tailback position. I think a lot of people in this crowd tonight are waiting on Jamal Lewis.
I think so, too.
Young freshman out of Georgia that was the most valuable player in the Georgia-Florida high school game this summer.
6'1", 230, and has tremendous explosion and speed. See what the balls come up with on third down. Manning, straight drop, right over the middle. Incomplete, and could have been picked off. Nash had the ball off his fingertips.
Not a good series. Marcus Nash just dropping that football. Dane Johnson was covering, but I believe there's a penalty also.
Well, Texas Tech is applauding.
Yeah, if it's on Tennessee, you turn it down because you don't want to give Peyton Manning another shot.
Holding against the Volunteers.
Holding on the offense. Penalty decline, 4th down.
Here's Marcus Nash working against Darwin Brown. Sticks him, then breaks inside. He's open. Ball thrown a little high, but you got to make that catch, Marcus.
Leverton, a freshman out of Midland, Texas, into punt.
Good pass protection.
Now there's movement all over the place. By the way, Leverton was redshirted last year, and they traveled him around. And this is a good story. Leverton punted just out of the practice field every time they put him back to work on special teams. Then they would scrimmage and have some people around. He'd shank it left, he'd shank it right. He didn't kick well. It happened twice. Philip Fulmer talked to him and said, son, what is the deal? And he said, crowds bother me. And he said, you know how many people come to our home games? So they redshirted him and traveled him last year. And they say, is a lot calmer and is... he says he's not going to be bothered, as you look at Dane Johnson, by crowds anymore. You'll see here. Line drive. This one's not going to turn over. And on the run is Johnson, maintains his footing, picks up 8 more yards. So there's a timeout on the field, and we'll take it with him. 11:31 left until halftime. Our score remains the Volunteers 7, the Red Raiders nothing. Dean Campbell, the secondary coach for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, visiting with his guys as his offense is back out on the field. 7-0. The Volunteers lead it. When you look at the field position, Texas Tech, boy, they have had great opportunities, but you can't keep knocking the ball 18 inches from the hole and missing the putt. You gotta drop one of them in there from time to time, particularly on the road. Pass right over the middle, has it complete inside the 40. Donnie Hart on the receiving end, and that's good for the first down and 12 yards for Texas Tech.
You watch the middle of the field for Texas Tech. They do a nice job here, Zebby Leathridge, of crossing routes. There's a cross to try to affect the linebackers. And they picked off Leonard Little. Donnie Hart with the catch over the middle.
Cardinal 2 catches for 32.
You got to work on Leonard Little because he's a former down lineman, so you got to work on his pass drops and see if he can indeed cover in zone coverage.
That's Marlboro, who has just come into the ball game. He's a redshirt freshman out of Beaumont, Texas. And let's go back to Carl Ravitch again. Carl?
Ron, thanks very much. Southern Miss in Florida. The Gators starting to set up some short passes, trying to build some confidence in Johnson. Here, they find the tight end, and it works to perfection. Big number 89, Aaron Kinney, gets it down to the 3. A couple plays later, Johnson ran it himself. He's got 240 yards passing.
Well, the tight end is a house. Again, it's Marlboro. Ball is loose. Tennessee has come out of the pile with it, and the officials say yes. Corey Gaines has made the recovery. Marlboro, the redshirt freshman, turned it over. And again, Texas Tech is being denied with field position inside the 35-yard line.
Ron, this is a dangerous part of the game for Texas Tech here because all of a sudden now you get this fumble. Marlboro fumbles the football. Corey Gaines, number 30. I think they just ripped it out. Sean Ellis, number 93, I believe, just ripped that ball out. But I was saying this is a dangerous time in the game because now from this point on, Adrian Karsten, who's on the sideline, can watch those corners because you expect eventually for Peyton Manning to go deep on Brian Giddens or Darwin Brown.
2 turnovers now against the Red Raiders, both deep in Tennessee territory. Vols lead it 7-0 from the I formation. They squeeze a hole. Has 5, has 10. Counted off at 13 yards. Cartwright holding on for dear life, but Levine was about to break that one for a very long gap.
Well blocked up inside by the Tennessee offensive line. Trey Teague blocked back. Spencer Riley pulled. Then up inside is Mark Levine for a good gain. Tennessee being very patient on offense. Play calling by David Cutcliffe, trying to set up the running game.
That was Eric Diago, the tight end, who was out blocking, number 82. He's a sophomore out of Garland, Texas. Tennessee has a lineup that has a number of kids from the Lone Star State. You see him pull the guards. Levine behind him. Goes to the right side for 3, maybe 4. Ty Ardoin. Texas Tech stops the run.
By establishing the run, now all of a sudden Texas Tech has to let Brian Giddens and Darwin Brown out there by themselves a little bit because now they've got to get both those outside linebackers, McCullough and Ty Ardoin, inside to try to help stop this running game.
Well, it's Darwin Brown, the junior out of Tyler. Giddens also from Tyler, John Tyler. Got it complete. That's Nash. He gets bumped out of bounds, and Giddens better be careful because he was out of bounds when he bumped him. And right in front of the Tennessee bench as well.
Well, sometimes it's frustration. You can't catch up to a receiver. Finally, when you catch him, you're going to give him a little bit of a hit. But Brian Giddens, so far in this ball game, has played himself very, very well against these Tennessee receivers.
Under 10 minutes, 9:15 exactly until halftime. Crowd has kind of settled in, so have the two teams. Boy, the first 2 sequences by both clubs were a little rough. Kind of jittery. Straight ahead with the running play again. This time it's Jamal Lewis, and he is close to the first down at the 39. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, I'm watching these Texas Tech defensive backs very closely. You know, Tony Darden was perhaps one of the best cover men in college football. Without him back there, what the Tennessee receivers are doing are disguising their speed the first 10 or 12 yards into their route, just putting these guys to sleep. I can't help but think they're just getting set up here.
The running game is going well for Tennessee right now. You eventually think play action pass.
Oh, that's a nice move. Bryson still on his feet. Has the first down at about 5 yards more as Dane Johnson comes over to make the stop on him. Bryson just put the brakes on, let the defensive man run by, and then picked up 5 more.
And Ron, that's got to be a concern to Texas Tech because of their numbers, they haven't tackled full speed, and you get some missed tackles on Sean Bryson.
Mike,
you're right. Dane Johnson came up with a good tackle.
It really can throw your timing off when you haven't had live drills.
All of a sudden you get up to the running back in practice and they blow a whistle. Well, they're not blowing a whistle tonight. You've got to take him to the ground.
You better take him to the ground or they're going to blow a whistle down the field when they say 6. Manning gets it away, and that's going to be a loss of one as Cartwright stayed right at home, and that play was kind of doomed from the get-go as Bryson made the catch, but by the time he turned around, and there is a flag as well. Now there was just no place to go. Defensive holding against Texas Tech.
Well, I think what Adrian was talking about, sometimes the receivers can disguise their speed a little bit, and there's Brian Giddens, and maybe that's the call on Marcus Nash. Yes, he does have a little jersey trying to hold on to him.
Holding on the defense. 10-yard penalty. The result of the penalty.
Brian Giddens' dad is a high school coach out of Tyler, Texas, great high school program.
I mentioned John Tyler. That's where Earl Campbell played. And this young man played in the 5A championship last year. In that game, they had, it was either 40 or 45,000 people. So big crowds are not a new thing to him. But Division 1A football is.
Those receivers are.
Yeah. There you see the penalties, 4 for 25 against Texas Tech, 2 for 20 against the Volunteers. See the corner creeping up. They go with the running play, and there's nothing there. Jamal Lewis stopped from the get-go, and it's going to be a 2nd down and 10. It's Ty Ardoin who wrapped him up.
Ron, as this first half, we get to 7:43 on the clock. John Goodner, the defensive coordinator, has had a great plan to stymie Tennessee a little bit here. Cause some turnovers. They're making them work the field. No big plays to this point. So John Goodner is doing exactly what he came in here to do defensively. Make them work for every yard.
Manning with an audible. You can see the clock running down almost to 7 minutes. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up, and his pass, Schuler, complete at the sideline, and he is out of bounds at the 18 to stop the clock. I guess, Mike, the two defenses that Tennessee has seen recently that are most akin to this would be what, Alabama and also Memphis.
I think Florida's also an 8-man front defensive team.
3rd down, and the line to make is the 12.5. Clock shows 7:11 left until halftime. Tennessee leads it 7-0. Manning now 7 of 12 with 1 interception for 80 yards in this first half. Swings this one out, got him open. Big time, Levine at the 10, cuts it back at the 5. He will score. Well, let's hold on. Flag was thrown, and Ron Gilbert, the referee, says, let's bring it back.
Pass interference on the offense.
Calling a pick on this play. Now, here's the pass, and what you get is you've got to have good tackling on this play on the flare pass. There's 2 missed tackles. That's number 23, Reagan Bounds, the nickelback, Robbie Cartwright, but looking for the pick. I just don't see it downfield.
Was it the man that they got in the right flat there, Mike? The short route about 5 yards across.
I don't know.
We'll check it out at halftime. 3rd down. They still need the 12.5. Manning, as you can see from the shotgun, shuttle pass. 25 at the 20, and Darden very nearly broke that one as Dane Johnson again has to come up from that free safety spot and make a very sure tackle.
Another break by Texas Tech. They get that penalty and force Tennessee into a field goal, and Spike Dykes has to feel good about the way his team has only behind 7-0 to this point. I mean, they've made so many critical mistakes.
It's going to be a 37-yard attempt by Jeff Hall. Jeff, a junior out of Winchester, Tennessee. Plenty of distance, plenty of accuracy. He's got it. Timeout on the field with 6:14 left until halftime with our new score, Tennessee 10 and Texas Tech nothing. We'll be right back. Peyton Manning on the phone, and I'm sure he's visiting with David Cutcliffe upstairs, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. And Mike, in looking back at the replay, they were called for offensive pass interference, but if the ball is caught behind the line of scrimmage, you can block downfield.
So yeah, and I'm not sure that's what the call was, or whether there was a pick that they felt like they picked off a linebacker that was on the back in coverage. Just not sure.
Here's Hall's kickoff. Tennessee leads it 10-0. Johnson, 2 yards deep. He'll take a knee. You know, Mike, here I go back to that point that you and I have made so many times about allowing officials in football games to explain what the foul is, who it's on, and what happened, so we don't sit in the dark. Everybody. For the 3rd straight year, Burger King will recognize outstanding student athletes through the $1 million Burger King College Football Scholarship Program. Tonight's Burger King students of the game are from Texas Tech, Jarrett Greaser, a junior studying agricultural economics, and from Tennessee, senior co-captain Leonard Little. He received his bachelor's degree just 2 weeks ago, and he is enrolled in graduate studies. That pass thrown complete to Malcolm McKenzie. Malcolm will fight it for 3 yards, and that is about it.
Good throw by Zebby Lethridge. Zebby being elected by his teammates again for 3 straight years as a captain. The only other player at Texas Tech that happened to was Zach Thomas, the outstanding linebacker who's now with the Dolphins. So when your teammates respect you, Ron, like that, he's got great leadership qualities.
Second down and about 7. Clock about to go under 5 minutes until intermission time. Short drop, looking route. That's hard. Breaks the tackle. Going to have the first down and goes down after a gain of 15. Al Wilson finally makes the stop on him. And let's go to Adrian.
And John Gaston, the umpire on this official crew, tells me, yes, it was a pick downfield, but you two aren't the only ones who want a further explanation of this. Phil Fulmer was halfway out on the field saying, look, Tech has been running the same kind of play 3 times already tonight, and they weren't called for it. So he wants further explanation at all as well. But I'm in the same precarious situation. They would not tell me who it was who committed the foul.
Okay. Well, but if he said they had run it rather than no, we didn't, then it reached its design. Counterplay, nothing. I mean, the counterplay has become counterproductive for Texas Tech. Williams is just not able to get it up inside.
No doubt, Ron. Let's go back to that play. If there's a pick, it's got to be one of these 2 receivers, and neither one of them are picking anybody. And the ball's caught behind the line of scrimmage. I'm just not sure of that call. I did not see a pick to that side. Usually what happens as we talk about pick is a wide receiver will try to cut off a linebacker like in basketball so that he can't get through on man coverage, but there was none of that on that play.
Blitz up the middle. It's Little. Screen pass. They got him open. Here's Williams at the 40, 45, and that's about all he can get. And Corey Terry will take him out of bounds.
What a great call by Rick Dykes, the offensive coordinator, just figuring those linebackers with that speed and invite them on in. Zebby Lethridge, come on in here. Come on in, linebackers. And I'm going to throw it right over your head to Ricky Williams, the tailback. Now Ricky Williams makes that catch. Now the linemen are out in front of him. Picks up good yardage and a first down. Good blocks downfield by Jay Pugh and Chris Whitney. Great call. That's what you like against an aggressive defense. Somebody's going to blitz a lot against you.
Short drop, look to the right, nothing there. Back to the left, has it complete. That's Hart. Fights for what he can get. He's marked out of bounds. They're going to say at the 47. Terry Fair makes the tackle, and they've kind of stayed away from him tonight, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have, Ron. He's one of the better cornerbacks in the country, maybe the best. Watch Ricky Williams here, number 35. Freshman, good block. On the outside, gave Zebby Lethridge some additional time to make that throw to Donnie Hart.
One of the things that coaches really worry about is when you have a freshman, redshirt or true freshman, in situations like that, if they miss the call, particularly if it's an audible, and miss that block, and all of a sudden you lose your quarterback.
Yeah, you better have one in the bullpen, the relief pitcher, because that was a good block by Ricky Williams. I've been impressed with him.
Timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. 4:03 until halftime. Volunteers leading by 10. Mike Gottfried and Adrian Karsten coming to you from Knoxville, Tennessee. 107 plus. That's what they were expecting tonight. fact, we've just been given a figure. Looking pass. It's Malcolm McKenzie. It's complete. And the first down for Texas Tech. Al Wilson defensively. Fourth largest crowd ever. 106,285. 106,285. They had 107,608 for the Florida game last year.
And I saw them all coming in here, and by that car, we were in that traffic jam.
Clock running down to 3:45, 3:44. First and 10 for the Red Raiders. They tried to get just a little opening for Williams, and there's nothing. Corey Terry is there. You also see number 40, Billy Ratliff, off the bottom of the stack. And boy, the Tennessee defense has really been tough against the quick trap, the counter, whatever.
But you have to continue to do it, Oran, because you can't allow them to run free and blitz your quarterback. And there's something to running inside, outside pass, and then you've got to slow them down with a draw in the trap and control them that way.
Marlborough comes back into the ballgame. Number 7, that redshirt freshman from Beaumont. He fumbled the last time he was in the game, and they're giving him another shot. Donnie Hart, the receiver there, bumped out of bounds at the 35. And Adrian, back to you.
Well, Ron, Leonard Little represents a one-man college football experiment here as he has moved to middle linebacker. But defensive situations, down and distance, determines how long he stays in that position. Usually first and second down from what I've seen. Then they let him move all over the field. He's an NFL caliber type pass rusher. But what Texas Tech is doing now, when he moves outside to the end to rush the passer, they're dumping that little pass right over the middle. So they're kind of spoiling the experiment here.
Third down. Line to make is the 32 of Tennessee. Williams tries to bounce it outside, and he does, and here's the speed. Caught from behind as he slows up by Torrey Noel, and it was Malcolm McKenzie. Give him credit, number 17, with a paving block, and the longest run from scrimmage by Williams tonight.
Well, the wide receivers, when you talk to John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, he said the thing about the wide receivers is that Texas Tech, they block downfield. And you see all the good blocks downfield. Malcolm McKenzie with a good block. Donnie Hart with a good block.
Hart, you're right. That was number 82, who also was out front.
Here you see him block downfield on those. And of course, a little holding, too, but that doesn't hurt if you don't get caught.
First down. Leffert gets it away, overthrows him, and he had Hart open inside the 10-yard line. Oh, Zebby would like to have that one back.
You know, we had Zebby as a freshman, sophomore, and of course they were in the Southwest Conference, and he has the all-time Southwest Conference record of 211 passes without an interception. Now there's a little knock on him back in Lubbock, Texas. They say, well, he throws for a real low pass percentage. He's around 47%. But Texas Tech teaches, and wisely teaches, their quarterbacks to throw the ball away rather than take a sack.
Rob Peters, the backup quarterback, is coming at wide receiver again. He's number 9. Off to the left side. And nothing on the option play. Billy Ratliff is the man who comes in and spoils it as they try to take it to the open side of the field on the quick count. Nothing doing. Ratliff's had an outstanding first half.
Good tackle by Billy Ratliff. Again, the speed up inside. He was going to go to Ole Miss. And then because of the probation, he decided to come on to Tennessee.
6'3", 275 from Magnolia. Third down. Texas Tech needs the Volunteer 9-yard line. Clock runs with 1:50. Now 1:49. Pass underthrown, and I think he threw it away when he saw the move by the defensive back coming up quickly. Steve Johnson was closing in, and he just dumped it into the turf.
I think a wise choice by Zebby Lethridge. Had one receiver on the outside, and you're right, he saw Steve Johnson. Could have maybe picked it off if he hung it up a little bit more. Decided maybe it's a wise decision to set up the field goal and at least get 3 here.
Jared Greaser, the junior out of Amarillo, will come and attempt this field goal to try to make it a 7-point game. It's a 37-yard attempt. He missed one from 32 earlier. Wide left, rushed it a little bit. Low pass, gets his kick away, and he got it. Boy, that is a nice job by Rob Peters. That ball was low and inside on the turf, and he still got it up in time so that his kicker could knock it home. Nice job there.
Well, that's why you like a quarterback or somebody with good hands to be the holder. Bad snap. He was able to get it up, gave a turn for his kicker. 3 points on the board for Tech.
Well, Okay, Carl, we look forward to that at halftime. You have to say an extremely difficult loss for Syracuse at home. And conversely, for Michael King and his staff at NC State, what a gigantic win. And you tip your hats to them as they got down early, Mike, and they didn't give up on the road. And that's a real testament to his football
and
team.
Syracuse had a game in the bank against Wisconsin, so great effort by Michael King's staff.
That's a good kickoff there as he kicks it away from the return man and out of the end zone. Well, Texas Tech did two things in this drive. 4 minutes and 34 seconds. They took off the clock, 13 plays. That man would like to have seen a touchdown, but they did come up with a field goal. And most importantly, it kept Manning and company off the field, which is another way to play them best.
Well, you're right. And I can't say enough about Spike Dykes and the job he's done this week, let alone in his coaching career. But when you lose two players on a Tuesday, he's kept his team together. I thought maybe he'd be a little fragile if something bad happened, that maybe the snowball effect, but it hasn't.
Little counter play, breaks the tackle, goes for 5, and now close to 10 yards as Dane Johnson comes up to put the stop on Bryson. Bryson seems like certainly the most complete back that Tennessee has.
He is. Now you go into your 2-minute mode. Tennessee now wants to get to the line of scrimmage, get those plays called, and get off.
Straight ahead with the running play. They will pick up the first down.
They got plenty of time, Ron. 3 timeouts left. 1:09 on the clock. First down, stop the clock, so it's a lot of time for Phil Fulmer's offense.
You know, they got to be wrong on that, Mike, because you remember Peyton called a timeout.
Okay, on the
back
board
earlier.
It's 3 right now.
So it shows 3 on the board, but it should be 2. That pass overthrown. Keith Schuler, make it Benji Schuler, his younger brother, the intended receiver out here on the near side of the field.
Tennessee has not been sharp throwing the football tonight so far in the first half. Credit Texas Tech again. The 8-man front defense gives you a lot of coverage opportunities. There's a lot of doubling on the inside receivers with the linebackers and the defensive backs.
Sent the blitz. Tennessee picked it up well. This is McCullough, and he's going to fight his way out of bounds. Darwin Brown with the defensive play, but Andy McCullough, big fella, 6'3", about 210 pounds, out of Dayton, Ohio. Big target, and as you could see, strong enough to pull the defensive back with him to stop the clock.
Yeah, they usually don't get out of Ohio to come down here to Tennessee. But Andy McCullough got out along with Peerless Price.
Yeah, both of them from Dayton, Ohio.
That's usually what happens. One comes and brings the other one with him.
They're bringing the chain from across the way. Spike Dykes took the opportunity to come up and visit with the officials. You mentioned they are from the Southeastern Conference. Ron Gilbert, the referee. John Gaston, the umpire. Philip McKinley is the linesman. Mike McGinnis, the line judge. Bob Lee, the side judge. The field judge is Don Shanks, and Steve Freeman is the back judge. And their alternate tonight is Thomas Suzmanski. So first down, Tennessee. 56 seconds left until halftime, and they have the ball at their own 43. They lead it 10-3. Manning swings the pass out. Got a big opening. And Bryson out of bounds inside the Texas Tech 40. In fact, they're going to say the 38-yard line. That's good for 19 yards. Now, all of a sudden, you mentioned there's a lot of time with those timeouts left, Mike.
A lot of time, and people at home are probably saying, well, they're playing to prevent defense. That's not true. Number 5, Kevin McCullough's on a blitz right here, but Peyton Manning just chose the right receiver, Sean Bryson, out in the flat against the linebacker. Then he gets a good block downfield, good yardage, and gets out of bounds to save those timeouts.
That was McCullough, number 88, who was downfield blocking. Blitz coming up the middle. Manning trying to to run away from the defender, gets his pass away, and threw it incomplete. Nope, Levine caught it, but he didn't have a foot down.
Still smart by the veteran quarterback Peyton Manning, because he didn't want to take the sack. Still tried to get to completion, but still stopped the clock because the ball was out of bounds. What a job by the defense again, Texas Tech. Keep talking about that they're making Tennessee get every yard. There hasn't been a big play to this point.
That was McCullough you were looking at, number 5, the sophomore out of Irving. As we mentioned, the coaches want to make sure he sees every snap tonight. They really like what he does. Manning going on top. Got a man. Oh, he dropped the football. Peerless Price, I thought it was going to be a little too long, but Mike, that hit him on the fingers. Oh, my goodness.
And Ron, again, he's back early. First of all, Tennessee fans are glad to see him back. But this is what I thought would happen a little while ago. A deep throw to Peerless Price. He's wide open, get behind those tired corners, but he just doesn't make the catch. But again, he has not practiced full speed. He's been out there practicing, but not full speed. He got behind Darwin Brown, just didn't make the catch.
And he's embarrassed. He's embarrassed because that was very catchable. 2 of 5 on third down conversions for the Volunteers. They fake the draw play. They're going to go on top again. This time, great coverage on Price, and it's incomplete. And now here comes a late flag in. And Spike Dykes is out on the field. Antoine Alexander may have been the guy who was flagged.
And he's a true freshman, Ron, but I think he did get tied up with the wide receiver, Peerless Price. They went back to the well again. They hit it one time. There's a good coverage. Little holding going on right there. Not bad. Little roughing him up down the... I think he just gets a little tied up. Antoine Alexander on the call.
Well, what was interesting, the inside official didn't throw the flag. The outside official is the man who threw it. So the penalty gives Tennessee the first down. 28 seconds left until halftime. Carl Ravitch standing by back at the studios. He'll bring you up to date on what's happening down in Gainesville. And the other games today, the Shocker up in Syracuse, New York. Let's see. Buick Century halftime report coming up 28 seconds from now. It's game seconds. See the blitz up the middle. Manning. Oh, got him wide open. That's a pick. And they scored the touchdown. Marcus Nash receiving congratulations on the sideline. We'll look at it in just a moment after Hall attempts the extra point. And he's got it. Let's take a look, Mike.
And what Tennessee likes to do when they get inside the red zone, inside the 30-yard line, is they've got 2 wide receivers lined up very close together. Now, as it stopped, you can see pretty good position. Now the corner, they cross. Marcus Nash, just a good route right there. The defensive backs just ran into each other.
So let's take a break. We'll be right back. 17-3 our new score. 21 seconds left until halftime. So Tennessee worked the 2-minute drill, in this case under 2-minute drill, to perfection.
And they kept their 2 timeouts. Didn't need a timeout. Used the field sideline well.
Pooch kick, fair catch called for, and it's fumbled. Tennessee has recovered it at the 28-yard line.
What happens on a kick like that, you have a tight end and you want him to fair catch it. He made every signal the right way. He just didn't catch the football. Drop it.
Raynoch Thompson, the defensive linebacker who has had such an outstanding first half, is the man who got on the football.
Now here's the Pooch kick. You just want a high kick. You don't want any return. The fair catch is made. He just doesn't make the catch. And that's Joe Fight, number 31. Now Peyton Manning going to try to make him pay again.
Caught it at the 1-yard line. Copeland.
Good coverage by the defensive back, but he just couldn't find the football. Running with his back to Jermaine Copeland. Peyton Manning put it right in there again. Been able to hit outside. Blitz on. Throws under pressure. See the linebacker with his back to the football. Jermaine Copeland cradling that football.
I'm sorry, that's Nash. I called it wrong. I thought it was number 6, but it's number 12. Marcus Nash, the senior out of Tulsa. The back didn't turn around, as Mike said. And Spike Dykes can't believe it. It's like all of a sudden a big cloud here and some lightning started striking on his side of the field.
Well, and Tennessee's got 11 seconds and 1 timeout, so now you've got the possibility of the run or the pass on this play. Because they can use the timeout. If they run the football, don't get in, they can use the timeout. Texas Tech needs a big defensive play right here. Well, this could turn into a track meet.
Volunteers trying to go up 24-3. They lead at 17-3, 11 seconds showing. And as Mike said, they still have 1 timeout left.
Tennessee likes the bootleg down here with Peyton Manning because he's such a good ball handler. So both those defensive ends got to make sure they check Peyton Manning after the play.
2 tight ends, dead T backfield. Touchdown, Mark Levine. Seconds showing on the clock, so they get 14 points in 20 seconds, Mike. And all of a sudden, this one's been blown wide open. We'll be right back. (24-3), and officially, Texas Tech scored, or let's say Tennessee scored, 14 points in 13 seconds. So the pooch kick, this one is handled for the Red Raiders. 5 seconds showing on the clock. Jonathan Hawkins, who is a reserve linebacker and fullback, caught that one.
Well, Philip Fulmer at halftime knows his ball club hasn't played well, though. They've had spots. It's been a spotty performance. So he's going to challenge his group at halftime to come out and let's make a few less mistakes and let's try to get a drive going. Let's play good defense and let's don't make any mistakes in the second half. Spike Dykes has got the coaching job. Well, he's got to build his players back up. Got a lot of young players, and this is getting away from him.
Lethbridge will go down on one knee, and they will head to the locker room. So it's halftime, and Peyton Manning comes up with 2 quick scoring drives in 13 seconds. His club up by a count of 24-3. Now let's go to the 24-3. Our score at halftime is certainly the most devastating thing that happened to the Red Raiders in the first half. Mike, 14 points in 13 seconds. What do they do?
Well, Ron, I think first of all they don't have a lot of home run hitters. They're like a baseball team with a lot of singles hitters, but what they did is they hurt themselves. The 1 interception, the 2 fumbles. They just kind of got to regroup a little bit and make some plays, but they got to have some big plays.
Stats in that first half as we kick off the second half, and this one is not going to be returned by Johnson as he will go down on one knee.
Well, when you look at the stats, again, the key is the turnovers. 3 turnovers by Texas Tech. When you're on the road, they had great field position their first 2 drives. They weren't able to come away with any points. Then the mistakes that they made, Tennessee got 10 points.
Texas Tech downs the ball at
See the numbers on Lettridge: 9 of 13, 88 yards, 1 pick. Williams, 13 rushes, 38. And for the Volunteers, Manning, 13 of 21, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nash, 5 receptions, 86 yards, and a touch. And of course, Peyton was picked off 1 time in that first half.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Well, Ron, Spike Dykes admits that his young guys were guilty of going in the tank there about 60 seconds too early and playing not to lose. It sure would have been nice to go into that Red Raider locker room only about 7 points down at halftime. But that's what happens, he says, when you got 31 of your 68 guys on the travel squad in a game like this for the very first time to start their Division I careers. Offensively, they're going to give Zebi a little bit more freedom. Coach brought up that chalkboard situation. Keep an eye on that. What they're going to give him are a player or two in his hip pocket, and then he gets to make the selection to open this game up a little bit.
And Ron, what they'll do is they'll write several numbers on a chalkboard and let Zebi call it from the line of scrimmage. Try to get more plays rather than send players in on the field, take a little bit more time. And you see the chalkboard down there, but I don't think they've used it yet. I think they're getting ready to use it.
Zebi, of course, a senior out of Lubbock. 2nd and 15, gets by 1, drills the pass, has it complete, and Hart very close to the first down. Raynack Thompson.
What I was talking about in baseball analogy is, you know, they don't have a 3rd, 4th, and 5th hitter that can knock the ball out of the park. I don't think they're wide receivers or the wide receiver types that can hurt Tennessee's defensive backs, and they got a freshman running back, so they've got to put together drives to get their points. I don't think they can get a big play on Tennessee.
Well, they got a big one here. 3rd down and 3. Straight ahead with a running play. There's nothing. Leonard Little is right there. Jonathan Hawkins got stuffed in the hole. 4th tackle for Leonard Little on the night. And a good hand for the defense as they come to the sideline as Zebi Lettridge and company go 1, 2, 3 and out. Not the way they wanted to start this second half. It's Brian Robertson, who pooch kicked in the first half. He was in to do the punting.
And Ron, if you're Tennessee, you got to look for a fake kick here out of Spike Dykes. I doubt it's going to happen, but you got to be alert.
Terry Fair, the deep man, and he is a dandy returner. He'll get a chance on the 21. Caught by the ankles at the 35-yard line. 50 yards in the kick, 14 on the return, and we see no flags down on the field.
This is how the first half ended. We talked about the corners for Texas Tech being a little bit tired. Darwin Brown on coverage. Came back, had the 2 receivers, and they had to rub off. Marcus Nash with a touchdown. Peyton Manning with the throw to Jermaine Copeland down the middle. No, Marcus Nash down the middle. And that's how they unraveled a little bit there just before the half. Took advantage of those corners. Deep throws.
Happened very quickly. Manning throws his first pass of the second half complete. Spin move is going to garner him a first down as Nash was outside doing a good job blocking, and there's a flag down at the 40-yard line. Nice move by Levine, though. But Tennessee starts the second half exactly the way they started the first half, completing the pass, almost a first down, and they get a penalty.
Ron, I thought, you know, we can't read lips or read minds, but as Peyton Manning was running off the field.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty, spotted a foul, still first down.
At halftime, I just looked at his face, and I just thought, boy, he is not real happy with himself and his offense. And he came back for this year. He wanted a special year, and I'm sure he thought the first half just stunk as far as he was concerned in the Tennessee offense. And I told you, I didn't think it was real bad for him, but when you're Superman, everybody expects a lot more out of you.
That's right. Nice fake. He got the pass away, but his knee was down. Bryson, when he caught it, good call by the officials. The ball was a little low. Sean went down to make the catch, and I think you'll see, I believe it's his right knee that was on the ground.
Good pressure again by the Texas Tech defense, doing a lot of zone blitzing. And you're right, Ron, his knee was on the ground, and we saw a game today, Texas Tech, or Virginia Tech, had a little bit of a break against Rutgers with a knee on the ground. It turned into a touchdown.
Shotgun with Manning on 2nd and long. Shovel pass, and that's just an incomplete pass. That's the safe thing about that play is Taurus Rucker got on the football very wisely, but it's simply an incompleted pass. Almost like somebody missed an audible or something.
Yeah, it's been like a typewriter effect today. Both these teams, no one's clicking. They can't consistently get something going. Just a high throw there on the shovel draw to Sean Bryson.
You can see the numbers, 40% on 3rd down conversions tonight, and the line to make for them is just across the 45. Swings out, got the screen, breaks a tackle, and he was one tackle away from being loose and running fancy free. It's Jamal Lewis. Benji Schuler with a very good block.
Yeah, what you do on that play when you throw the flare to the back, Sean Bryson, you bring the wide receivers both inside to block. Now here's Benji Schuler. He's going to come in and block this linebacker who's going to come out and try to make the play on this. There's the block by Benji Schuler. Now you got both other wide receivers downfield. Good blocks. Sean Bryson with a good first down.
Lewis still on his feet at the 50-yard line. Does not go down cheaply.
I think, Ron, the offensive line for Tennessee's had a good first half. And David Cutcliffe told you and I and Adrian the story about they had a scrimmage here in early fall practice and a night scrimmage, and he wanted to come back, a hard-working coach. He wanted to look at the tape that night, but he couldn't find it, and he found the offensive linemen. They were all gathered together looking at this tape, making comments, and he told his quarterbacks, he said, I had an enjoyable night with these offensive linemen. They have a lot of pride this year in proving that they can do the job, pass protection and running the football.
Play action by Manning. Got his man, and he underthrew it. Carl Ravitch, let's check in with you.
Hi, Ron. Seesaw battle, Oklahoma State, Iowa State. Todd Bandauer going back to pass. Kevin Williams picks it off, returns it inside the 5. A couple plays later, Nathan Simmons takes it in from 1 yard out. He's got a 1-yard run and a 31-yard touchdown run. It's a 7-point game.
Shocker. Bob Simmons and his guys saying, hey, we can fight our way through all this adversity, which we had. Wow. That's really a surprise, and that game is in Ames, Iowa.
Ames. Aimless.
Right now, it certainly is on the part of the Cyclone. 3rd and 6. Manning's pass. Got it, and he breaks the tackle and free over the middle. Yards on the pass play.
Well, that's the advantage of being 6'3" and 200 pounds against a 5'10", 180-pound corner. All of a sudden, Brian Giddens just got hidden behind Andy McCullough. You're going to see Brian Giddens coming down the football field. He's in pretty good shape. Now, stop. He's in pretty good shape right here. He just can't make the play over the body of Andy McCullough. And the ball's thrown on the money by Peyton Manning.
And the official was very open-minded on that play because we kept looking for a flag to be dropped, and there was none. Swings this one out. Levine in the open field. You can see shoved out of bounds at the 21 by Brian Giddens. Also Dane Johnson out there.
Just go back to the first half. And I made a comment to you about 7 minutes to go in the half that John Goodner, the defensive coordinator, had to be proud of the effort his defense was given. They really have played well. Now, this is a drive that Tennessee's taken down the football field, and Texas Tech needs a big play here, so expect some kind of blitz, zone blitz, trying to get Peyton Manning into a mistake.
And, of course, Tech came out, had the ball to open the second half, but it was 3 downs and out. And the defense has had to go right back to work. Screen pass. Nice job defensively, and Bryson is going to be tackled by Lemons and also Shipley.
And Kyle Shipley with another good play. Learned on Tuesday that Butler, the middle linebacker, the starter, was not going to play, and he had to play. And I think he's had an outstanding ball game for the Texas Tech defense. You lose that leadership when you lose veterans like Eric Butler and Tony Darden not being on the field.
Third down, the 17 is where they need to take it to pick up the first down. Payton's pass got him wide open. Nash will step out of bounds just shy of the 10-yard line, and it is a first down, Volunteers.
What you hope to do to Peyton Manning, if you're going to slow him down, is make him hold the football. Get enough pressure in the face that you make him hold the football. But he's so good with his eyes and the vision and head on the swivel that he can find the open receiver. Now, I've been impressed with this drive Peyton Manning's put together. He may not have been happy with the first half, but he's going to be happy with this drive.
6 receptions, 101 yards, and 1 touchdown for Nash tonight. Blitz coming up the middle. They pick it up, and a pass incomplete. You can see Price probably didn't break back on the ball quickly enough, and as a result, Alexander had a shot at intercepting that thing.
Well, you look, and again, that was Alexander, who's a true freshman now. He's the backup. He comes in nickel situations. Antoine Alexander, number 30. Good coverage. Holding on to that jersey of Peerless Price. Breaks on the ball very, very well. And I think Peerless Price couldn't get his feet down to be able to come back to the football.
Second down and 10. That one's complete. Touchdown. Nope, did they say he stepped out of bounds, or did they signal it? Nash. Marcus Nash for 6.
That's what I'm talking about, Ron. A lot of quarterbacks can't make this throw. Good coverage again by Dwayne Price, number 1. He's in pretty good position. That ball is just thrown with good velocity, very accurately in the corner. And Marcus Nash for the touchdown. Separated a little bit away from Dwayne Price there at the catch.
Extra point attempt is up and good. Timeout on the field. 9:11 to play. Third quarter. And our new score. All of a sudden, Tennessee beginning to blow this one away. 31. Texas Tech 3. Tennessee 31. Texas Tech 3. And let's check in quickly with Adrian Karsten. Adrian. Okay, we'll get back to the big guy here in just a second. Let's kick this thing off. Dane Johnson. Ball is loose. Tennessee is recovered at the 29. Four turnovers against the Red Raiders.
Dane Johnson trying to move up the football field. A good tackle. Fumbles that football, came out. And Ron, if you're the defensive coordinator right now, you've got to make something happen, but you also got to figure most offensive coordinators like to take a shot at the end zone right here as the ball just eludes Texas Tech. They just had a chance, couldn't pull it in.
That's Dwayne Goodrich, who had an interception, didn't he, earlier on in the ball game?
They nicknamed him Big Play, so he's made a couple today.
Yep. Play action, got his man right over the middle. McCullough at the 5. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Tennessee coaches, when there's a turnover, you feel like the defense may be down a little bit. You try to come back with a play-action pass. Andy McCullough over the middle. Missed tackle by the tired Darwin Brown, the corner, and Tennessee in the end zone again. But Peyton Manning was unhappy with the first half. He came out here with a vengeance in the second half.
Well, that's the truth. Somebody should be worried about the fact that he was chapped. All with the extra point. He's got it. 8:49 left to play in the third quarter. And Tennessee now 38, Texas Tech 3. Well, the Tennessee faithful should be pretty pleased right now. And I guess the question now, Mike Gottfried, is does number 2 quarterback T. Martin, does he get an opportunity to see some action tonight?
Well, you got a complex problem there. Number one, it's the first game, so you want to work your quarterback as much as you can because they've been a little sloppy in the first half. I'd say one more drive by Peyton Manning. The second thing is he's in for the Heisman, so you want to build up those statistics as much as you can. But you open with Syracuse next year, and number 16, Peyton Manning's going to be playing in the NFL, and your quarterback's going to be T. Martin, so you need to get him in the football game.
That's true. That'll be an interesting opener. The fact that McNabb will be gone from Syracuse as well.
And they say T. Martin is an excellent young quarterback out of Mobile, Alabama.
Kickoff is coming down at the 7. Williams. Here's a flag from back downfield, and Texas Tech is going to scrimmage from deep in their own territory.
Stop by Dwayne Goodrich. There's a marker on the play. Against Texas Tech.
ESPN's NFL Prime Monday kicks off every Monday at 7:30 Eastern for 90 minutes with host Mike Tirico and company, recapping last week and looking ahead to next week. And at 9 o'clock, the season premiere of ABC Monday Night Football with the Bears at Green Bay. Their last meeting in Lambeau, Packers won it 28-17.
Ron, a question for you. I'm going to give you 2 questions tonight. But my first one is, how many Tennessee jerseys do you think they've sold around here with number 16 on?
Everybody I saw today had one on.
Adrian even had one on.
Lethbridge's pass into the grass, too low. McKenzie is the guy that he wanted. The reason that camera was shaking, they were doing the wave here at the stadium, and it was kind of shaking things up a little bit. This is Peyton being worked on just a moment ago. It almost looks as though they're attending to his chin. Maybe he took a shot underneath that chin strap. Lethbridge throws it complete, and McKenzie's knee was down. Malcolm made the catch, but his knee was down.
You know, unlike basketball and baseball, where all the coaches are on the sidelines, they can talk to players. Peyton Manning's on the phone with David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator, and that's the only chance he gets to try to relay information to him on the sideline. He tries through other coaches, but when he gets a chance to talk to him, I'm sure they're talking a little bit about when to put T. Martin in this ball game.
On the visiting with David Cutcliffe, we asked him if that situation had been discussed with Peyton. He said for sure, because he understands, you know, that we got to look at our number 2 quarterback for experience sake for next year. Lethbridge just threw it away. The only thing he could do, I mean, he was getting all kind of pressure. Jonathan Brown was the first man, and a standing ovation from the home folks for this defensive unit. Now the other dangerous thing that can happen to you, Spike Dykes was not enamored with the thought of kicking to this fella, because Terry Fair can absolutely light it up.
He's rated by the pros as the top corner in the country, along with Fred Wary down in Florida. He can do so many things. He can play as a punt returner. He's an excellent corner, and Tennessee's going to use him as a wide receiver, a little bit like Deion Sanders and Charles Woodson up in Michigan. good enough athlete to play both ways.
14 yards on his one return tonight. See if they kick it to him or away from him. Brian Robertson punting again for Texas Tech. Short kick. This was not going to turn over and may not be returnable. In fact, now takes a Tennessee bounce and will not make midfield. That's going to go out of bounds at the Texas Tech 46. So a break in the action. 7.5 minutes to play third period. It is all Tennessee.
Back at Neyland Stadium with a 35-point lead and 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Peyton Manning is back in the game after he took a shot to the head. He came out, was flat on his back on the bench. They gave him some smelling salts. Ron will update the rest of the picture after this play.
Okay, Adrian, good job. So we said good field position for the Volunteers again. From the shotgun, they throw it complete. And that's going to be enough for the first down. In fact, Jermaine Copeland will have a gain of 11. Adrian, back to you. Complete your story.
Well, Ron, obviously he hasn't lost too much with that completion right there. But the point is this. After he got back on his feet, I could hear at least half of that two-way conversation between himself and Cutcliffe. You got to keep in mind, they wanted him to keep going if he wanted to. He told me in that conversation I mentioned earlier this week, he said, you know, we've seen Donovan McNabb. We've seen Ron Dayne. Now it's my turn. That was part of the decision to come back here. Certainly not the foremost, but that's why he's back in the game here.
And Ron, I think it's a good choice. I think he needs to play this series, maybe one more, but then get him out of the ballgame, because their offense in the first half did not click. It has clicked in the second half, and he has had an excellent second half.
Well, here's still another receiver out of the backfield. This is Derek Edmonds, a sophomore out of Tampa, Florida, number 33.
And a lot of people probably saying, well, you had 38-3. Why is he in the ball game? It's only the third quarter, but I tell you what, this is a long season. This is the first game, and you want your offense to look a lot better than Tennessee thinks they did in the first half.
Look at these last four. 80 yards, 24, 65, 29, all for touchdowns. Doing up the middle that time for Darden. Monte Rieger steps up into the hole to make the hit on him.
Monte Rieger is an outstanding player. In his first play at Texas Tech, Penn State in the opener ran an end around, and he made the hit on him and caused the fumble, and it was a touchdown for Texas Tech. So he had a very good start for Texas Tech, and he's been an outstanding player for their defense.
Woody Weidenhofer gets victory in his first game at Vanderbilt. They knock off North Texas in that ball game this season.
Tennessee teams picking on the state of Texas today.
Yeah. Darden will fight his way to the 19. Tim Duffy on the stop, and again the Volunteers move the chains, much to the delight of the home folks here. Nice job of blocking. Chad Clifton, who probably is the second best offensive lineman on this line. He's the left tackle. Spencer Riley. There's Trey Teague is where it all starts. So number 70, the center. Mercedes Hamilton and Robert Poole on the right side. That's Edmonds. And Edmonds goes inside the 5 to the 4.5-yard line. Bounds finally with a stop.
Well, you have so many crossing routes, and then all of a sudden you run an arrow route. You come inside and you go back outside, and that's what Derek Edmonds did. Got the defensive back thinking, Darwin Brown, that he's going to run a crossing route. He's back outside. Ball's on the money, and Tennessee's in scoring area again. You were talking about the offensive line. I think the head coach at Tennessee, Philip Fulmer, was an offensive line coach when he's here for Johnny Majors. So the toughest job when the head coach is an offensive line coach is to be the offensive line coach under him. That's Mark Bradley, and he's done a very good job here at Tennessee.
Yes, you see Peyton talking to Peerless Price, telling him what he should have done on the route. But again, that's the fact. Peerless has not been working out as much because of that injury to his ankle. Amazing that he is able to play tonight. That's a heck of a job of rehab, and also was a salute to the training corps here at Knoxville.
Very much. When I was talking to him the other day, he said when he was hurt in the spring game, he said, why me? And he felt sorry for himself for a little bit, but he said, I'm going to get back, and I'll be back by the first game. Nobody thought he'd be back by the first game. You're right. Training staff here did a remarkable job.
Second down, fade, near side, Peerless Price, touchdown. 5 touchdowns for Manning tonight.
Yeah, just threw the fade. Caught Brian Giddens, who's played a very good football game, just turned the wrong way. And when he made that turn inside, he got separation, and Peerless Price caught that fade from Peyton Manning. Got turned around the wrong way.
Dean Campbell, the secondary coach, talking with the freshman. You can bet that Giddens will remember as he matures at Lubbock and continues to play good football. He'll remember his first start, though, and boy, he got thrown into the breach in a tough situation.
You might remember it, but it's been a nightmare, you know, for the whole Texas Tech football team. You see the separation there. He just can't make it up on the catch.
You know, among the things that Peyton had gotten to enjoy by staying another season at Tennessee, the chance to be playing a part in the wedding of Marcus Nash over the summer in Chattanooga.
People don't understand. That was one of those things that I couldn't have done if I decided to leave. And I was honored of all the honors I've received. For Marcus to ask me to be a groomsman in his wedding was a real thrill for me. And down there with Peerless Price and Andy McCullough, we're having a good time. But if I was in a training camp, I couldn't have done that. So it's something I really enjoyed that whole time. And to see Marcus get married, it was a lot of fun for everybody.
You know, Marcus said that the feeling was mutual, that they really enjoyed having Manning there as well. 5 touchdowns tonight. Mike, I'd be surprised if we see him again.
Yeah,
I think T. Martin probably will.
I think he's done. But that little video they had of that wedding, you just don't know the feeling of being on a team. You do, but the feeling of being on a team and a teammate, and I think Peyton Manning came back for all the right reasons.
See if the Red Raiders can get something going offensively here. This is Derek Doris. And he's going to take it out he fights all the way out close to the 30-yard line. Mike has talked so many times, and like in the pregame show tonight, about the nightmare that special teams can be in the first ball game. And boy, Spike Dykes would be the first one to talk about that this evening. College football next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern Time. The East Carolina Panthers take on the Big East Rookie of the Year, Amos Zaraway, and the West Virginia Mountaineers. All the action right here on your home for college football, ESPN. By the way, no primetime game next Saturday night. Amos Zaraway, he had a big day today. That was an exciting ball game with West Virginia and Marshall.
Good rivalry, and Marshall fought him till the end.
Williams, Raynoch Thompson. Boy, he has just been everywhere.
Ron, you know, in a first ball game, you can get your will broken quicker than in any other game, and I think Texas Tech is broke right now. And I watched that first game, Syracuse and Wisconsin. There was a point in that game where Wisconsin went down and just stopped, and the same thing with Oklahoma. Because you don't have an exhibition game, you don't have anything to measure your team by, you need a first game. And what Spike Dykes and his staff will be able to do now is go back and look at all the mistakes and then put it all together so that this does not happen again.
Price, Malcolm McKenzie on the near sideline, and Malcolm gets hit, almost had the ball knocked away. It's Al Wilson, and Thompson came in to hit him and make the complete stop, and it's going to be 3rd down, and they need about 12 yards.
Zebby Lethbridge just keeps competing. He knows he's a little short tonight on firepower offensively, but I would say, Ron, that Ricky Williams has played very well for a freshman tonight.
You know, Tech has got 17 players that are playing in their first college game tonight. 7 of them are true freshmen, this time last year playing high school football. That's a big task. Lethbridge running for his life, gets it away, and it is complete. That is Marlborough, who made the catch about 2 yards shy of the first down. And Lethbridge, as you can see, still rolling around and just now getting up.
Everything is difficult against this Tennessee defense. And this is an 8-yard gain, but this is a life threatener.
Lethbridge is really limping as he comes off the field, and the training staff is coming out to greet him.
Yeah, they cannot afford to lose him. Now, their backup, Rob Peters, you mentioned earlier, is playing a lot of football, but not at the quarterback position at present.
Darwin Walker, one of the players rushing on that last play. Robertson again with the kick. This is best one of the night. Wobbly spiral, and the fair catch signal for, and made at the 18-yard line by Terry Fair. 44 yards in the kick. And let's check in again with Carl Ravitch. Carl?
On Ron, Utah State, Utah. Last year, Utah State a winner by 3, 20-17. Matt Sock back to pass. Steve Smith cutting across. Missed tackle. He steps out of the 5. Sock later runs it in. Right now, it's a 7-point game.
Carl, a huge ovation has just gone up because the crowd, who is very football knowledgeable in this part of the world, as we all know, they know who T. Martin is, and they know that he is their future. So they applaud Manning's efforts tonight, and also applaud now the coming on of T. Martin at quarterback. And I think you'll see Tennessee do a lot of this to get him warmed up and loosened into the ball game.
Yeah, but when you bring a quarterback in like a T. Martin, you just don't want to run the football. You want to make sure that you throw the football a little bit with him so that his experience is not just handing the football off. You have to play this with a game plan. I think you'll also maybe see some of the young backs come in with T. Martin.
Well, that was Jamal Lewis just now, 6'1", 230, the freshman out of Atlanta. They really like him. Lewis again, Kyle Shipley on the tackle.
Well, they're tired of hitting each other in practice. They want to go up against somebody else. And now this is the reward for getting ahead. The backups get a chance to play.
Tell you who else is in this ball game as you look over the Texas Tech defense. He's number 52, Cozy Coleman, a freshman from Clarkston, Georgia. A lot of the college coaches who went after him think that this young fellow is going to be a great offensive lineman. There's number 52. He's 6'5", 320, and a freshman. They will have the first down as Lewis goes straight ahead.
Well, there's a lot of recruiting services out there, and Tom Lemmings is one of the better ones. And Tom picked Tennessee to have the best recruiting class last year. And when you start naming some of the players that you've named already, you can see why. And they're not just recruiting in this area. They recruit all over. Been able to recruit some top-flight talent.
I mentioned Lewis is from Georgia. Coleman is from Georgia. We mentioned several Texas kids tonight. That pass thrown a little bit before Graf Corby was ready for it.
They've got a lot of good recruiters. Rodney Garner's getting a lot of attention here at former assistant at Auburn. He came over here to Tennessee and went right in to Georgia and was able to turn some guys away and bring them right here to Tennessee.
Well, that paid dividends in a hurry, didn't it? The last play of the third quarter, gets it away and almost intercepted, went right through the hands of the intended receiver, and Darwin Brown almost picked it off.
Broken up by Darwin Brown.
Feel like T. Martin just a little uneasy throwing that football, almost pushed it a little bit.
Mike, you know what's interesting about him? T. Martin is obviously throwing the football right-handed. When he grew up as a youngster, he was left-handed, and his father wouldn't let him do anything left-handed, made him throw with the right. And the interesting thing is he throws the ball with a lot of zip, but he is naturally a left-hander. Each with his left hand, does everything else with his left hand.
Well, he took a hit there, too. After he threw that football, he had a knee injury early in camp.
And got to be sacked. First time that they've gotten to him. Lemons comes across to knock him down behind the line of scrimmage, and Tennessee is out of downs. Clock is running at 10, now 9. And we are about to head for the fourth quarter. There's a few folks beginning to head to the exit here in Knoxville tonight with their club on top 45-3. That's the end of three quarters. We'll be right back with the final 15 after this. 45-3 our score. Tennessee on top. Started a little slow in this ball game tonight, but the real devastating thing that happened, in case you missed that first half, in a 13-second period, boy, Tennessee scored 14 points. And with that, the floodgates came open, and it was over for all intent and purposes for Texas Tech. Robertson's punt going to Johnson. And gets by the first wave, and he will take it out to the 43. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, welcome to the world of satellite TV. Now, you know that even the 107,000 seats inside Neyland Stadium are still nowhere near enough to accommodate all the volunteer football fans. So a lot of them have elected to enlist in the Volunteer Navy, the 300-boat flotilla that's anchored just outside Neyland Stadium. Now, some of these people have actually given up their tickets for the opportunity to pull up a chair on board their boats and watch our game via satellite. And yes, Ron, post-game out here in the Tennessee River, there is even a traffic jam.
Ball is fumbled, it's loose, and boy, who can pick that thing up? Hot potato. Texas Tech got back out on it. You know that Adrian would wind up in a comfy situation with food close by, talking about tailgating.
You know, of all the places you and I mentioned as we flew in here, this is a beautiful place to come and do a game because the crowd, they come by water. They, as Adrian just said, just a beautiful setting here at Tennessee.
Well, it really is. Rob Peters operating at quarterback. So Letheridge, we said, limped off the field. I have a feeling that it's a combination, though, that they want to give Peters some playing time. He's going to run with the football, and not very far, as he will be tackled at the 43-yard line, which is the original line of scrimmage by Fred White.
This Tennessee defense, again, impresses me with their foot speed. They can make some mistakes, but they covered up. It's a backup corner, Fred White, 5'11", 185, good feet, and made a nice tackle.
Now Zebby on the sideline, and it looks as though he's okay. 13 of 20, 116 yards tonight, and Rick Dykes and Spike Dykes obviously decided that this was going to be his night. It would be over, and that Peters would come back in and get some playing time. Zings it, almost intercepted. I think Hart is the man that he wanted, but he threw it behind him. Anthony Hampton, the closest man to it.
Forcing him into a punting situation again. We met with Spike Dykes the other day. You could just tell he's a little bit on edge. And again, I go back to this staff, even when they got the news of the suspensions, never bellyached about it, never cried, never used it as an excuse. It just said, you know, we've got to get ready to play. If you guys stay home, we've got to get ready to play. Didn't use it as an alibi.
Robertson's punt. This one's not going to turn over either. And Texas Tech is going to follow this one down inside the 15. It'll be touched dead at the 13-yard line. So this is a timeout. We'll take it with him. 45 yards and a kick. 13:01 left to play in our ball game. We are back here in Knoxville. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten. Good to have you along on this first Saturday night of ESPN Primetime. 13:01 to play, and the Volunteers having their own way. Right now, the entire number 2 offensive line in the ball game. And that's Henry, who has just come into the ball game. Boy, there's a shocker there in overtime. Ole Miss in Central Florida at 17-17. Travis Henry, we talked about, a freshman out of Frostproof. He, too, has come off what? He was scoped. And they think, well, this kid broke the all-time high school single-season rushing record.
And you wonder how a Frostproof Florida player goes to Tennessee. But they had a pretty good receiver here from Frostproof, Alvin Harper.
That ball's recovered by Texas Tech. Yep. Cody Patton gets on the fumble, and the youngster we were just talking about, the freshman Travis Henry, on a second carry, coughed it up. And a turnover as his head coach comes out and gives him a pat on the backside.
Well, he will with the score 45-3. He'll take these little mistakes. I don't think he ever got the football. It wasn't a clean handoff from T. Martin. Texas Tech has a chance to get their first touchdown of the year.
Zebby Letheridge is back in the lineup as well. Quarterback draw at the 10, at the 5. He will score. Jonathan Gray with a great block on the left side.
He's an interesting story, Ron, because he's 6'5", 363 pounds.
Well, he lost. He's down to 49.
Okay, he's from Lubbock, Texas. He sat out a couple years after high school, and Spike Dykes was shopping in the mall at Christmas time and ran into him and told him, he said, as big as you are, you ought to play football. So he talked him into going and taking the test. He took the test. A good block right there by Jonathan Gray. Took the test, and Spike says he may be the best offensive tackle I've ever coached.
Well, he's a huge one. Great sense of humor with him. In fact, when they come back on offense again, we have some video to show you. One of the afternoons, and Spike gave him some time off, and they went swimming, and he did. Everybody got to do their choice of diving. Extra point attempt is up, and it's good. So Lethbridge, 17 yards with the touchdown. And let's look at House again, number 79.
Number 79, look at him keep those feet wide. He's got a good base there. He's got him tied up inside. Just enough time for Zebby Lethbridge, number 8. Use that quickness to get in the end zone. I think the other thing is Texas Tech fans back in Lubbock are happy to see he's back on the field. Hurt a little bit, and we thought, not sure what was wrong with him, but he looks to be very healthy.
Well, let's show you that video I was talking about. It was they gave him a break from two-a-days, so the team showed up at the Aquatic Center, and here's House. Jonathan on the board. Everybody got an opportunity to show their specialty.
Looked like Dennis Rodman.
And House, I'm not sure what the degree of difficulty is on this. It's not a dive. The amazing thing is that the 1 meter board is still standing.
Yeah, and there's water in the pool.
They taped his ankles today, and the table he was sitting on collapsed. It really did. That's not a made-up story. And the coaching staff said if they obviously were concerned that the youngster might not be okay, but they said he was just fine. But the table gave way under 349 pounds.
Lesson to be learned, tape him on concrete.
Oh, my.
Dwayne Goodrich.
Bruce will kick it off for the Red Raiders. From the 4. Flags all over the place, and Tech has a player down at the 20. It's Dwayne Goodrich. You know, Goodrich has been showing up all over the place.
Looked like a low block here, Ron. I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be the call. No hold. You're right about Goodrich now, but he's got that nickname Big Play. He was voted the #1 corner when he came out his senior year out of high school in Illinois, and he didn't start tonight, but I think that may have been a sign to him that you need to do some other things in practice, because there's no doubt he makes plays when he's on the field. Now I would think David Cutcliffe and Phil Fulmer cannot be happy about T. Martin's 2 series in here, so I think they got to get a little bit more mixture for T. Martin here. I know they don't want to score because you don't want to rub the other coach when you got him on the other sideline, but they need to get T. Martin some good, clean work here.
You can see his numbers, 0 of 2. Short drop, and he's got this one complete in the flat.
Good, safe, confident call for him to just a 3-step drop, hit Jermaine Copeland, get his confidence level up there a little bit. Those butterflies out. A lot of people thought Auburn and Alabama were going to get T. Martin, but he's surprised everybody and left the state.
Copeland now 4 receptions for 40 yards. Philip Crosby, a junior out of Bessemer City, North Carolina, the ball carrier.
My second question for you tonight. I asked you the first one. You had it right. You said many on the Rocky Top. Who wrote Rocky Top?
I don't know. I don't know.
I figured you know. You know everything. I mean, I'm serious.
No, I have no idea.
Police and Boudreaux Bryant wrote that song down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee at a hotel, and it became the fight song for the Tennessee Volunteers. They also wrote some songs for the Everly Brothers. Wake Up Little Susie, which used to dance to.
Well, sure. I listened to it. I didn't dance. I listened to it good. Jermaine Copeland with his 5th reception.
Just a little knowledge I wanted to throw on you.
Well, you know, speaking of that, the quarterback club here in Knoxville, I think, has got a neat thing going on. Lindsey Nelson, the longtime great announcer here in this country. Notre Dame also spent some quality time here with the Tennessee Ball Club, doing coaches shows and what have you, and of course passed away just a couple of years ago. They are naming an award after him, and they give that annually, and I think that's a great tribute to a guy who was really a giant as far as our industry is concerned.
Well, this Tennessee quarterback club is one of the finest in the country.
Lob, Copeland couldn't hold on. Wayne Price with the cover. He put air into that one, but the defensive back did a nice job of using the sideline.
But don't you like these play calls now? Now he's loosened up a little bit, T. Martin. Now he can show a little bit of what he's doing, and no fear of him scoring, but you want him to be able to come out of this ball game learning something.
And you know that T. Martin is beginning to feel a little bit more comfortable as far as the surroundings, the game atmosphere, and everything. His club up 45-10. Just over 11 minutes to play. Martin still looking to run. T for 6'3", 220. Legs it pretty good.
Well, he has a good running threat. Throws the ball. He's got an excellent strong arm, and he's learned under the master, Peyton Manning.
13 yards in the scramble, and it'll move the chains.
Just found a little opening up inside, decided to tuck it and pick up the first down.
Better hurry. Oh, did he take a shot, and he's intercepted. Boy, they did a stunt in the middle, Mike, and nobody picked up the defensive player that just annihilated T. Martin.
It's a good interception by Robbie Cartwright, number 36. I was thinking, Ron, you know, when we came in here a couple years ago, Peyton Manning was a freshman, and the quarterback was Todd Helton. And I was watching the Baseball Tonight on ESPN last night. He came in the 10th inning last night, got a base hit, and won the game over the Seattle Mariners. Now here he is 3 years later. Peyton Manning's the #1 quarterback in the country. Todd Helton's in the major leagues. We're still here.
I want to hear exactly where this analogy takes us. 10:38 to play. Cartwright, as Mike said, with a nice interception. Lethbridge, play action. And safety valve pass, and I'm not sure who that one was to. And let's check in again with Carl Ravitch. Carl?
Hi, Ron. Good job by Coach Gottfried keeping up on what's going on in the baseball world. How about some other SEC quarterbacks today? Doug Johnson makes his first start for Florida. Throws a couple of touchdown passes, but also 3 interceptions. Danny Werfel didn't throw his 3rd interception until Game 7 last year. So we'll keep you updated on other SEC QBs after this.
All right, Carl. Interesting Saturday. Everybody anxious to get it started. Some disappointments. In fact, several. Lethbridge, pass out in the flat. That one's overthrown. Mike, I just want to say the Southeastern Conference, and in fact the entire country as far as the sports information world, lost a true friend this past week. Bob Hartley, who served, this is incredible to me, 51 years down at Mississippi State, passed away on Tuesday evening. He was truly, I mentioned a while ago, a giant as far as the industry. Bob Hartley was just one of the really nice guys, and I think that everybody in sports information would say the one label that he would carry with him is that he was truly a gentleman, and he will be missed. Our condolences go to Bob's family. Lethbridge takes a pretty good shot from Eric Westmoreland, a sophomore out of Jasper. And he's close to the first down on that 3rd down run, and they may have to bring in the change. What do you think, Mike? Hard to tell from where I am.
I don't think he's made it, Ron, and I'll go on record as saying I don't think he made it, which is probably wrong. But because you wanted a response, I'm going to give you that.
The young man carrying the down marker certainly agrees with you. He's already got 4 up there, and he's a lot closer than we are. Ooh. That's a first down. Yep. Well, the PPG Kart World Series gets underway Sunday at 5 o'clock on ESPN with the Molson Indy Vancouver. Michael Andretti looks to defend his title against Alex Zanardi and other top drivers. Qualifying set for 12:30 tonight at ESPN2.
Geico with Texas Tech trying to do with Zebby Lethridge still in the ball game, and unless something happened to Rob Peters, they haven't been pleased with their offense tonight either, and they'd like to get a little bit extra work.
Ricky Williams catching that one out of the backfield.
Yeah, Ole Miss got away with a close one.
Yeah, Central Florida, both of them scored in overtime, and Ole Miss got the extra point. Central Florida, well, I'm not going to get, but probably went for two, I guess.
They have a great quarterback, a kid named Dante Culpepper. All the pro people say that he's going to be a special quarterback.
Flag from way downfield. Pass interference going to be called. Sean Johnson is the young man who was trying to cover.
And I'd agree with that call. He was a little bit on the back. Rob Peters, we were talking about where he was at. He's as a receiver now. You need him in that position, so that's why Zebby Lethridge is back at quarterback.
And Rob has played there at wide receiver a lot tonight.
This is a thin ball club, a young ball club, Texas Tech.
Now the officials are going to make sure they get this one straightened out because the chain gang was trying to move over on the other side. And that they will do. It is first down. Complete. That's Hart running free in the middle of the field. Now collapsed upon it. He's inside the 15-yard line as Griffin finally got him. 48 yards.
And a nice throw by Zebby Lethridge.
And Mike, there's a late flag that has come in.
Donnie Hart, who caught that pass, didn't practice Tuesday. He was injured.
Hamstring's been bothering him. And a personal foul, face mask, called against the Volunteers.
Zebby Lethridge got corner up on right here, so he's trying to hold Donnie Hart from getting inside the two deep coverage. Came right back inbounds, made that catch. Good throw by Zebby. And that ball's at the 6.
You know, that's a nice job by Hart as far as putting a little arc on the pattern, because if he had flattened it out, I don't think that Zebby could have gotten in the ball.
No, I don't. They pushed him out of bounds, and he came back in and made that catch.
First and goal. Throws his pass incomplete. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Now the young players of Tennessee making a lot of mistakes right now.
And let's check in with Carl Ravitch again. Carl?
All right, October 18th, Tennessee goes to Alabama as we continue to look at SEC quarterbacks and their performances today. Freddie Kitchens, good day, 12 and 19, 168. Helped out there by the great catch by Rutledge's tight end. They win 42-17.
Mike, I thought it was interesting. Rutledge, the tight end, almost caught more passes in the first half of the ball game than he did all of last year. We'll check in with Adrian as you look at Peyton coming back out of the locker room. He looks like he's limping a little bit. That play's going absolutely nowhere, and let's check in with Adrian. Adrian, what do you have for us?
Well, Ron Payton took one on the chin, literally. That shot where he was flat on his back and was taking smelling salts. Now he's actually got 4 stitches in his lower chin. All they're going to do is loosen up that chin strap for him. He's back on the field. So, yes, David Cutcliffe, if you're listening in, he's going to keep going if he can.
Well, I'd be amazed if we saw him, particularly now. Had to have 4 stitches put in the chin. Second down, pressure on Lethridge, gets by 1. Still looking, and finally knocked out of bounds around the 5-yard line. Jeff Coleman pushed him out.
Well, Zebby Lethridge, when they look at this tape tomorrow, is going to thank Ricky Williams for saving him. So there's a blitz coming on. Number 35, he's going to sneak right around here and pick that blitzer up and save Zebby. Just bump him a little bit. Save Zebby from getting a headache. Pretty impressive by Ricky Williams tonight. He's blocked, ran the football. They found themselves a tailback for Texas Tech.
Third down. Quarterback draw. Fumbled the football, and Tennessee recovered it. Jonathan Brown. 6 turnovers, Texas Tech.
Darwin Walker, I think, jarred that ball loose from Zebby Lethbridge. And their 6th turnover. Zebby in a quarterback draw. Darwin Walker, number 58, makes the contact. Ball recovered by Jonathan Brown. Tennessee's off and running.
45-10 our score, just about the midway point of this 4th quarter. T. Martin gives the ball off inside. Now I think we've gone off the depth chart. Michael Trey. Travis Stevens, I beg your pardon. Travis Stevens.
Tennessee came in here tonight with 2 questions. One, could they run the football? I think they've answered that yes. But I don't think the second one's clear yet who the tailback is. They may still continue to roll several tailbacks and alternate them.
T. Martin pumped it once, then throws a very nice pass. And that's Cedric Wilson. Now, if you just joined us, maybe you were here earlier, went away. Here are the final numbers on Peyton tonight. 26 of 38, 310 yards, 5 touchdowns, and had the 1 interception. The 5 touchdowns ties a career high. Tennessee's rushing tonight, 29 for 116. Nice run by Stevens. Carl Ravitch, let's go back to you.
Hi, Ron. Peyton Manning, not the only SEC quarterback to set up some records. How about Tim Couch in Kentucky? Comfortable in the pocket, waits and finds Jimmy Robertson. And Robinson cuts outside and finds the end zone. For Couch, school records in attempts, 36, and yards, 398. He also had 4 touchdowns. They'll meet on the 22nd. It's not for a while.
Boy, 4 touchdown passes. Couch. Off to an awfully good start up at Lexington. Stevens again, that's about 3 yards, maybe 4. Monte Rieger for Texas Tech.
We talked to Philip Foreman the other day. I don't remember him talking about Stevens. I mean, they've gone down.
No, that's what
he's pretty impressive, too.
They're completely off the charts as far as the people they're using. But this is one of those things, all those youngsters that have been working so hard and just don't get a chance to play in front of the home crowd. As you look at Peerless Price in the sideline. Real concerned about the whole deal, doesn't it? Resting that ankle, I guess. Under 6 minutes to play. We mentioned no primetime game next Saturday. The following week will be at Blacksburg. Virginia Tech, who looked outstanding today, playing host to Syracuse. That pass, well, as you could see, the receiver never turned around. By the way, the final round of interleague play continues on ESPN with Sunday Night Baseball. National League leaders, the Atlanta Braves, take on the Boston Red Sox. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
And I'll be watching Carl Ravitch as he gives you all the baseball. They're the best.
35-point lead. T. Martin missed the handoff and did the smart thing. He just went down. Now, when you score 45 points, you think, well, everybody is just dandy happy over the situation. But Mike's exactly right. The first thing that David Cutcliffe will do after he looks at the efforts of the #1 offense will be to sit down and break down the #2 offense. And the #2 has struggled somewhat.
And Ron, they have a tough opponent next, UCLA now. UCLA looked good today. The little bit I got to watch them on TV, but I think they're going to be a formidable opponent out at UCLA.
Yeah, Bob Toledo's guys get to go home. Here's a look at the Tennessee schedule. They're on the road the next two at UCLA, then at Florida, then at home for Ole Miss and Georgia, then at Alabama. We'll be there with them in Birmingham. Then in November, South Carolina, Southern Miss at Arkansas, Kentucky, and they finish it out with Vanderbilt.
You know, an interesting comment Peerless Price made to me yesterday was on the field. He said, we're focused. You know, no one said anything about Florida. He said, last year we talked about Florida as the games were going on, but he said, no one's even mentioned the word. We want to go Texas Tech, UCLA, then get ready for that ball game. Nobody's talking about it now.
Good heavens, what a hit on the special team. Boy, they've had a lot of that tonight. And as we check the number here, Sean Johnson, linebacker, sophomore out of Louisville, Kentucky. And as we said, there's a flag thrown immediately. Illegal participation.
Too many men on the field.
Too many men on the field. So,
Ron, I'll make another statement for you, too.
12 men on the defense.
I believe Tennessee matches up better against Florida this year than any of the previous years. And the reason is their defense, they have linebackers that can run now, so the matchups are a little bit better for Tennessee. And I like the fact that they're going to go down there and play them, barring any injuries next week, with a veteran quarterback. So I think that Tennessee got a shot at Florida this year.
Well, the numbers on Peyton on the road. This is what he's done at Florida. 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. At Alabama, 95. We had that ball game. 3 touchdowns, 301 yards. In fact, on first down, you remember they caught the safety cheating up, threw it up, and scored close to an 80-yard touchdown on first down.
Well, Lee Corso made a comment at our meetings. He said Peyton Manning willed that win at Alabama. You and I were there, and we both commented to each other that they were so confident going into Alabama. The head coach, the quarterback, they just believed they were going to win that game, and they were going to win it big.
Well, back went the wrong way, and T. Martin goes into the side. He's going to lose about 4 there. Shipley and Ardoin combined on the stop. The other thing I think Philip Fulmer is going to come away from here saying we've got to work extremely hard on. I don't think that the kicking game, and I'm not talking about the kickoff and field goal. I'm talking about their punting has not been good tonight, Mike. It's been very inconsistent.
No.
Not what it's going to take to win in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, you're talking about a little fright of the crowd. They may have to hire a hypnotist.
Leverton, of course, we told that story in the first half, what Mike is alluding to, that he was bothered by crowd. But he has not kicked well tonight. Martin drills the ball, has it complete across the 45, but that's where they're going to mark it down. So it's going to be 3rd down at about 1. And again, Cedric Wilson.
On coaching lingo, when you go back and look at the tape, it's never as good as you thought it was, and it's never as bad as you thought it was. There's a happy medium in there. You see a lot of good things. Spike will find a lot of good things in this ball game to build on for his next game. He was dealt a bad blow. I don't like that fact that the NCAA came in there Tuesday and took 2 flares out. They could have done that at the beginning of the fall practice. Sometimes I wonder about those guys.
Stevens just shy of the 30-yard line. Not only has the first down, has 5, 10, and 12 more.
Stevens has been very, very impressive here as a young back out of Clarksville, Tennessee. Take a look at all the running backs tonight. Sean Bryson, Stevens, we just talked about, 5 backs, and I don't think anybody's really established themselves as head and shoulders above anybody else.
No, I don't think so. Plus the fact Manning threw to 10 different receivers tonight.
Well, that's outstanding. Mark Bradley, the offensive line coach, his boy plays at Georgetown, Kentucky, and he's the captain of the team, and he's done an outstanding job under this offensive line.
There is your first touchdown, T. Martin. Grant Corby records it with the 2:21 mark of the fourth quarter.
Ron, I'm telling you that T. Martin, you need to let your quarterback play a little bit in this situation. That's not running up the score. That's giving your next year quarterback a chance to perform a little bit. Good play fake, deep throw. Tell you what you're thinking about if you're coaching Tennessee, of course, is that you got to get him experience in case something happens to Peyton Manning. You just can't get it handing the football off.
51-10 with the extra point attempt to come. So there's a timeout. Let's take it with him. 2:21 left in the ball game. It is Tennessee by 42. You know, possibly a future star here in Knoxville. Another one of those 16 jerseys makes that we have seen thousands of today.
And number 16 had a big night in his quest to take this team all the way.
Ricky Williams trying to take the ball away, and so Ricky retreated with him.
Here's the big night Peyton Manning had. Hits Copeland with a touchdown pass. Came right back to Marcus Nash. Marcus Nash again in the corner. Good velocity on the ball. Andy McCullough on a crossing route just after a Texas Tech turnover. And then finally, Fearless Price. Pretty fair evening. Don't think he was happy with his first half performance, but got a smile about that second half.
Well, Peters ducked underneath the tackler, as you could see.
Pass incomplete.
Kenny Smith, the intended receiver. And here's a look at the schedule for the Red Raiders. They go home for a couple of games. Southwest Louisiana, North Texas. Then on the road at Baylor. Then after Waco, it's KU at home, then at Nebraska. At home for A&M and K-State. Then at Texas, at Oklahoma State, and they finished up with Oklahoma.
And remember, Ron, they're going to get Darden back and Butler back, and they can regroup a little bit and before Southwest Louisiana and still have a big year. 3 straight bowl games for Zebby Lethridge and that man, Spike Dykes. First Big 12 Coach of the Year last year.
Well, he'll go out of bounds as a flag is down at the 35. Don't forget, coming up next, the Residence Inn College Football Scoreboard. The debut of Johnson, Doug Johnson that is, down at Gainesville. An upsetting Saturday and Wildcat woes. All of that and more on the Residence Inn College Football Scoreboard immediately following our telecast here.
I can't think of anything worse if you're a visiting coach for him to play Tennessee Waltz.
Holding on the defense.
In the fourth quarter because it's over.
First down.
I'd rather hear Rocky Top than I would.
Right now, I would imagine Spike would like to hear the roar of those jet engines and head back to Lubbock. I mean, this one it's in the books. It's not something that was pretty, and you just want to get it out of your mind. Peter scrambling around. That one was trapped. It's incomplete.
As we get down the road here, we just start the season. Who's your favorite to win the national championship?
You know what? After today, I've almost got a hedge.
Oh, you can't hedge.
Well,
you can hedge.
Penn State.
It's the first week. You can hedge.
No, but we were at the meetings. I picked Penn State, so I can't change
You
that.
and I both picked them.
I picked Penn
And who else do you think? I like Penn State because their schedule. I like their quarterback, and I like their defense. Who else, Ron, do you think?
Well, certainly the Florida Gators, certainly the Tennessee Volunteers. Washington, if they get on through those first 2 ball games, but I think having to open at BYU and at San Diego State, or well, it's not at San Diego State, it's at Washington, but those are difficult starts, and then Nebraska.
I think North Carolina too.
Yes.
You and I both
Very.
feel that they've done. Mac Brown's done a great job. He's got a good, solid
Keldorf,
defense.
great quarterback.
Quarterback that doesn't make mistakes.
Dre Bly, outstanding cornerback. Peters' pass almost intercepted at the 40. Tonight's BSA players of the game are from Texas Tech, Donnie Hart, 7 receptions, 118 yards, and from Tennessee, Peyton Manning, 310 yards and tied a career-high 5 touchdowns. And as part of their continuing effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa is proud to donate $1,000 on behalf of these 2 athletes to their school's General Scholarship Fund. I think, you know, Mike, Nebraska as well. You can't leave them
You can't
out.
rule them.
And it's
Can't
one of the
leave out
reasons
Florida
we
State
had
either, even though
no.
they got a tough schedule.
Robinson's kick. End over end. Well, we've got a flag down back here at the line of scrimmage. 1 minute left in this ball game.
It's roughing the kicker, and they didn't have a block on, but one player who's responsible to make sure the punter punched the football ran into the punter, and Texas Tech drive will stay alive.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, on the defense, 15-yard penalty, previous spot, first down.
Mike gives me an opportunity with 60 seconds left in the ball game. I'd like to wish my beautiful bride of 32 years happy anniversary tonight. We will celebrate tomorrow night.
Well, that's great. You're not home tonight.
No, Bonnie knows we will celebrate tomorrow night.
That's great.
32 years.
Where are you going? McDonald's? Well, I know you're one guy who likes to keep the money in the pocket, so where are you going to go?
Oh, don't give it away. Don't give it away.
Bonnie looks forward to a Big Mac tomorrow.
So there's a timeout on the field. We'll take it with him. 60 seconds left to play. 5 touchdown passes by that gentleman. We'll be right back. 52-10 our score. 60 seconds left in the ball game.
The other experiment tonight was Leonard Little moving to linebacker, blitzed him from the outside. I think you can grade that successful. John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, has to like the way Leonard Little has moved to that linebacker position. There's a lot of questions answered for both teams tonight. Leonard's a graduate now. Came in here, Ron, and found out after 2 weeks of practice that they weren't going to honor one of his classes. And so he had to go to Coffeyville Junior College. He didn't get to play football. Coach Foster out there did a great job with him. David Cutcliffe called him every day. He said he felt like going home several times, but he knew his mom wanted him to get that degree. He came back to Tennessee. He played. He graduated. I think that's a true great story in college football. He overcame some adversity, and his mom told him, she said, "You're going to get that degree." He got it. He said that's the proudest moment he's had here at the University of Tennessee.
Another timeout, so we'll take a short break. 36 seconds left in our ball game. Right back after this. Pass is caught at the 1-yard line, and Texas Tech will have a 1st and goal. 26 yards in the pass play. Derek Doris on the receiving end. So Peters quickly back to the line of scrimmage, trying to get the Red Raiders in the end zone. With 29 seconds left, goes straight ahead on a quarterback sneak.
Receiver Derek Davis
Touchdown.
that made that catch, Ron. He just switched over to offense this week.
Peters directs his ball club to a touchdown, throws that long completion to Doris down at the 1, and then with a quarterback sneak takes it in. 22 seconds left in the ball game, and extra point attempt coming up here, trying to make it 52-17. So we need one more commercial. We'll take it with him. 22 seconds left of the ball game. 52-17 Tennessee. Peyton can't keep his hands off those stitches that he just had put in the locker room. See the ball teed up, set for an onside kick with 22 seconds left.
Yeah, you need to practice everything. Get one onside kick versus live competition.
Well, the onside kick is recovered perfectly by Tennessee. And it's Copeland, part of the good hands team, that is there to get on it. One tick came off the clock because, as you know, the new rule this year, it starts as soon as the ball is kicked, except the final 2 minutes of both halves. We didn't see any chop blocks called tonight, not that we knew of.
No, the overtime rule, which is new.
Yeah.
We didn't. Of course, there's a couple overtime games around the country tonight.
Well, Syracuse lost one today. Ole Miss won one tonight in overtime. Stevens the ball carrier, and that should be the final play of this ball game, as Tennessee will not go back to the huddle. Stay tuned for the Residents in College Scoreboard. Chris Lee and Kirk standing by with all today's scores, highlights, and analysis from the day in college football. For Mike Godfrey, Adrian Karsten, and an entire primetime crew, I'm Ron Franklin. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.